Welcome to Twitch Rivals presents the Verizon 5G League of Legends Wild Rift Invitational, powered by Verizon and the iPhone 12 Pro. Simply put, Wild Rift is League of Legends built from the ground up for mobile, and it's all made possible by the ultra-fast, ultra-low latency Verizon 5G ultra wideband network, and being played on the ultimate 5G gaming device, the iPhone 12 Pro. It's safe to say 5G gaming just got real. I'm your host, Wavepunk, joined by LaTigris and Dash. And LaTigris, where are we? This is crazy.
I went to go eat some dinner. I came back, and Brooklyn's on one side, Chicago's on another. There's Nexuses everywhere. We're in the fountain. I mean, Dash, we spent a lot of time on Summoner's Rift, but this is something else entirely.
I mean, they have brought it to life, and I could not be happier with what has been done here. I feel like I've been plopped right in the middle of the game. I'm excited for the action that we have in store. 3 big matches coming our way, and 10 competitors who really want that victory.
They are here and ready to go, and also socially distanced apart. As you can see, we are as well. Every precaution has been taken to help us prevent contamination, and if you want to know more about that, stick around to the end of the show. You'll see some more details on exactly all the measures that were taken to help make this show possible, and we could not be more excited to get it underway. So let's talk to you about what is going to be happening over the course of today. We've got this tournament schedule going on, 3 matches, one going to be going on down right now, 6:45 p.m. If you're like a match 3 main or something, you only watch match 3s, come back at 7:50, but for the rest of you normal people, stick around for the whole show. It's going to be
Stick around for the whole show.
We're going to see it all go down. How are these matches going to be played out? Let's walk you through the format. It's pretty simple stuff. Standard 5v5 you're used to seeing out there on Summoner's Rift, but played on Wild Rift this time. 3 matches total, and the teams are going to get shuffled a little bit every round. So these are the players, and we'll show you who's on what team at the start, but things are going to be a little bit different for matches 2 and 3. And the prize they are all playing for is to be the Invitational MVP, because that player will have their likeness placed onto one of these turrets we have here in front of us. They're like 10 feet tall. I have to look up to them. Not many things in the world I do have to look up to, but it's pretty cool. I can't wait to see what that looks like. I mean, Dash, like this is maybe the coolest prize I've ever seen.
Wait, Punk, we've seen $1 million prize pool, and it does not compare to a 10-foot statue where you will get immortalized. Your image will get immortalized onto a 10-foot turret and then placed on the Riot campus. I am so jealous. Yeah, whoever ends up MVP.
This is going to be wild stuff. Well, let's talk about the teams that are going to be playing here today, because we've got some crazy players underway. And so we're going to start off with the blue team, okay? 5 of the best celebrities and pro players we could muster into one place, and we put them onto a team to try and assert Wild Rift domination. Let's get off with the lineup. It's Aframu in the bot lane down there in support of one of our pro players. He's going to be joined by Zed in the mid lane, world-renowned DJ, going to be holding down the mid. Also in the bot lane, we'll be seeing Rick Fox, legendary basketball player, playing ADC. Apex will be playing in our jungle. And in the top lane, Cicero. Oh my goodness, watch out for him. He's pretty deadly. Now, we've seen these 5 players play a little bit yesterday during rehearsal. Dash, where'd you feel the biggest strength for blue team was?
Ooh, I'm going straight to the bot lane. I mean, of course, you're looking at Aframu as one of our League of Legends pros. We'll see if his skills can translate to the mobile device, but I think his game knowledge will be there. The sleeper OP, though, that I'm going to call out is Rick Fox. This is a guy who has put hundreds of hours into the game of League of Legends. I know he knows it top to bottom strategically, and you mentioned those play tests that we got a glimpse of just yesterday. He was popping up. He actually dumpstered me in one of them, so I'm calling it out. Keep your eye on him.
You're still feeling that sizzle a little bit.
I am. It hurts a bit.
Well, you know, maybe you'll get revenge at some other point on the Wild Rift. Let's take the time to talk to some of the players here on the blue team. We mentioned Aframu down there in the bot lane. He's the team captain and the pro player of the roster. Aframu, you've watched your team play. Things looked pretty solid yesterday during the scrims. How you feeling today?
I mean, if you told me I was going to be paired with 4 All-Stars, Cicero, Apex, Zed, and Rick Fox, I would call you crazy. My team loves to be aggressive, so we're just going to go out there and take the whole thing.
Okay, aggression going to be the key to victory here from Aframu. You're the team captain up against Meteos on the other side. Any key words for Meteos?
Well, I am versus him in bottom. He's playing Sona, but Janna's just a little better.
Oh, Janna a little bit better. Interested to see how that supportal combat goes down. Tigris, who else you got for us to talk to?
Well, I definitely got to get some words from Zed. We have been graced with his music within the Runeterra universe, but Zed, this is the first time we're getting to see your play specifically on Wild Rift. How are you feeling about getting into the game itself?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited because Wild Rift is actually relatively easy to adapt and actually kind of intuitive. And I'm excited to use Ignite. You know what I mean?
There it is. I expect nothing less.
So excited to see that. And one thing I want to mention is it was a Wired interview last year where you said you wouldn't want to play League unless you were good at it. Yes or no? Do you think that you're going to dominate here in Wild Rift?
Well, I guess we're going to have to see. I don't want to, show you all our strategies that we've carefully selected together. But I think we're in a great shape.
Well, we're all looking forward to seeing it, Zed. So happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
But of course, everyone on the blue side, they aren't without opponents, Wave.
Yep.
They've got to have some opposition.
We've got Joe Manganiello up there in the top lane, known for his roles in Magic Mike and True Blood. We've got Chrissy Costanza in the jungle from the band Against the Current and Vent TV. We've got Nate Hill in the mid lane. Went to Fortnite, now over here in Wild Rift. What's that going to look like? Emily from Counter-Strike. A few different pros from a few different games competing here. And Meteos down there in the bot lane, the pro player for Red Team. Excited to see that Aframu Meteos lineup. It was some exciting stuff yesterday. And I want to talk to the players from the Red Team as well. So we talked to Aframu over on the blue side. It's only fair we give Meteos a chance to respond. Meteos, he said that Jana was better. Well, before we get to there, I'm sorry. We need to look at who these players are.
Yeah.
Tigress, how do you feel about this lineup?
Just so excited to hear from them.
I was.
I mean, looking at this lineup, though, I think there's a lot of strength on this side. I know Dash has been excited about that. Chrissy Costanza's coming into that jungle position with what she has a lot of experience. Personally, my eyes are going to be on Nate Hill in the mid lane. Speaking to him yesterday, I know ahead of time that he was a little worried about how his skills would translate, but not going to spoil too much. I think we're in for quite a treat.
Okay. He definitely stepped it up. You want to go talk to some players now?
Let's talk to the players now. Okay, tried to get there a little bit too fast, but now finally I get to talk to my boy Meteos. Meteos, Aframu said that Jana is just simply the better support here. What do you got to say to him?
Well, I didn't balance the champions, but I know the player persona is going to be a lot better.
Oh, okay. Man, what's going to be the key to victory here for your team? You are the team captain.
I think on the red team, we've just got a lot of good teamwork. In our practice, we gel really well, and I think we're going to come out swinging.
Okay, cool. Well, man, Dash, who else you want to talk to on that team?
I want to talk to Emily because she is coming out of her comfort zone. As you mentioned, an FPS, top-tier FPS player. Emily, how you doing today? How you feeling coming into this mobile MOBA genre?
At first I was a little bit nervous because, again, I've never played League of Legends before. I come from the FPS scene, but I'm feeling so confident now after our warm-up game and during rehearsal, and my team is coaching me and doing so well together, so we're going to come in hot.
That's awesome to hear. The champion of choice, I believe, today from the fans was Jinx. So, I mean, gun in hand, that's got to feel at least somewhat familiar.
Yeah, I've never used Jinx before, but I've been falling in love with her, practicing with her, and I love her rockets, and it's definitely my champion to use, so I'm excited.
I want to see some sick Super Mega Death rockets. Best of luck to you, Emily. I'm going to let you go link up with your team and strategize in these final moments. We'll see you on the Rift in just a bit.
Okay, well, these two teams now getting ready, getting warmed up, and they're playing on Wild Rift. Many of these players, not just the pro players, but the celebrities as well, very familiar with League of Legends, and I think there's probably a few skeptics out there who are looking at this game being like, I like my League of Legends, why would I ever give Wild Rift a shot? Dash, what would you say to those people?
The thing I would say about it is that they've done a masterful job of taking the game of League of Legends, keeping all of the core elements in terms of, the feeling of competition, the ability to strategize with your team, and the importance of teamwork. Of course, still you have some skill expression, but I love, as Zed called out, the intuitiveness of the game. So I think the big difference that you'll notice is how much easier it is to pick up. And so I think it's going to be new user friendly, whereas the PC version, man, it's an investment of time if you really want to level up in that. But Tigress, I want to know your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I think that's actually one of the things at the forefront when you're thinking about Wild Rift and the capabilities is how are the League fans that have been here since the beginning going to enjoy it on the same level of those that are entering for the very first time? And by taking the League experience and building it from the ground up, we truly have something that feels unique to mobile without getting rid of that integrity. If you haven't actually checked out the dev diaries that are on the official channel, I encourage doing so. I think it was Michael Chow that said they wanted to make sure that they keep League moments, those super hype, yeah, I got to scream about this kind of moment with that accessibility that's been mentioned.
I mean, if anything, they've streamlined the game to just create more of those moments.
Exactly.
Which is what we all want to see happen. Now, there's a little bit of a skill discrepancy among some of the players here, right? We have a few celebrity players who love this game. We've got a few former professional players, right? And we wanted to make sure that the pros got some time to talk to the celebs. Afremu caught up with Rick Fox just a little bit ago.
Hey, Rick.
Afremu.
Yo, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Good to see you.
What are you playing?
Check it out, Wild Rift, man.
No way, man.
I had Ash.
Ash, really?
Yes. You got a few seconds for a few
Yeah,
tips?
of course, man.
Oh, man, come on. Give me some advice.
Do it.
The ultimate on Ash moves around.
Yeah.
Bingo, take that. I'm not the greatest mini-map watcher, but if I can just all of a sudden just go up here and take a good look, I'm a rock star right at that point, right?
Okay.
Any last-minute Ash advice?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. This is not for you guys.
I mean, you can see there, I mean, the game has all of the skill ceiling to try and climb up the ladder of a competitive game, but still intuitive for people maybe that are training for the first time.
I love his reaction to the Ash arrow because I had the same exact one when I saw some original play testing, thinking, oh, you can curve the arrow, curve the bullet.
Yeah, I think if you're a Scion player on the PC version and you like that drifting, you're going to be an Ash player on the Wild Rift for that exact same reason.
Well, I want to take the time to talk to two other important key individuals in our competition today. You met the 10 players, but they both have coaches here. We've brought Dardoch and Voyboy up to talk to us about how they've been preparing their teams. Dardoch, what does preparation look like for Team Blue?
For Team Blue, really just getting a little bit of the basics under wraps for a lot of the players. We do have some veterans, like in Rick Fox and Afro, but for the most part, the rest of the guys are extremely new. Especially Zed and Apex have not played at all before, so for the most part, just helping them out with really the fundamentals of the game.
Well, Voyboy, you have a lot of experience on other Twitch rivals, coaching teams of former pros and celebrities or streamers here. What is the key strength on Red Team?
Just like Dardoch said, there's a lot of players who, LCS pros and people who are playing from other games and very new to the genre. But I think the thing about Wild Rift that's pretty nice is that it's very streamlined, so it's actually not too hard to pick up, even for the newer players. And we've seen some people just come in and start smurfing on like their second game, which is really promising. And hopefully, everyone can go out there, have their best plays, and just try to work together as a team. Hopefully, for our team, we got Medios on that Sona. He can express his insane mechanics with that champion. We got Chrissy on the Master Yi. I kind of was trying to give her some advice and hoping to see a little pentakill action out of her. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think everyone's just trying to have a good time and play their best. And whatever happens, everyone's gonna win. So
I mean, you got some strong players, but Cesaro in top, Dardoch. How you feeling about your top lane?
Yeah, I was talking to him a lot about Tryndamere actually before we got mic'd up earlier, and he has a lot of confidence going into his matchup in the top lane today for sure.
Okay, well, guys, I'll let you get back to your teams. Good luck out there on the Rift today. Man, this is going to be quite the event. I can't wait to get into it. Now, the thing that the coaches are not going to be able to prepare for is how Twitch chat influences the game. We told you earlier, the teams are going to shuffle up. You're going to get to decide which lane swap every game. Every game, we will swap one of the lanes, so the mid laner from Red Team will go over to Blue Team and vice versa. Be using that Twitch Rivals extension. Go vote now of which lane you think should swap in game number 2. And make sure also that you get your tournament predictions in online. Use the hashtag 5G just got real, and make sure you're following at Verizon for a chance to win an iPhone 12 Pro. Guys, for real, 5G gaming just got real.
I'm a Verizon engineer, and I'm part of the team building Verizon's 5G network. Today is a really big day for us, because today we're turning on 5G across the country. And this is the 5G America's been waiting for, with a coverage of 5G nationwide. And in more cities, the unprecedented performance of ultra-wideband, the fastest 5G in the world. It's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. 25 times. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I'm excited about how it will change your phone and how it will change the way businesses do everything. I'm proud because we didn't build it the easy way. We built it right. This is the 5G America's been waiting for. only from Verizon.
Truly an unprecedented event on an unprecedented network, on an unreleased game, on a brand new phone. Like, there is so much about this event that is so cool. And I promise you, there's no TV magic here. There's genuinely a 5G tower right there. Everything you're seeing is running on the 5G network, and I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, it's so interesting thinking when it comes to the competitive space for mobile gaming that not that many years ago it was so challenging to try to set something up and what network are you going to use. So I think one of the things that I'm really excited about is getting to see Wild Rift on full display, not only using the Verizon 5G ultra-wideband network, but the iPhone 12 Pro. We got to get our hands on it a little bit, and my fingers got a little sticky as they wanted to keep
Yeah. Ooh, I wonder if they'll miss one at the end of the night.
I don't think they will at all. They are looking at those things like hawks right now.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's talk about who is going to be playing what champion here in game number 1. On the blue team, we're going to have Cesaro on the top lane playing Tryndamere, Apex playing Olaf, Zed playing, of course, Zed, and Rick Fox playing Ash. Aframu going to be playing the Janna he told us about earlier.
I want to jump in here just to say I love how communal this event is, because it should be mentioned that the viewers and fans at home actually selected each of these champions for our 10 competitors up on the stage today, and as you mentioned, are going to get to play a continued role throughout the tournament. So with that's a lot of responsibility out there, everybody. Make sure you use it wisely and evening up the teams later on.
Yeah, for sure. And they will be keeping the same champion, Tigers, even if they do end up swapping lanes. So we'll get to see these players, maybe who maybe playing the game for the first time, really start to improve on that one champion as the event goes on. Here's the red team. We'll see Garen in the top lane from Joe. Chrissy will be playing Master Yi in the jungle. Ziggs from Nate Hill in the mid lane. Jinx from Emily. And Meteos will be playing the Sona. We've talked a lot about the bot lane. Talk to me about this top lane matchup, Tigers. We got Garen going into Tryndamere.
Yeah, so this should be very interesting, especially when you're just considering what those champions are going to offer to the teams as a whole come later on. Garen, for instance, being able to serve as that tank and in lane can apply a lot of pressure with his abilities, but Tryndamere in the same sense, and when talking to Cesaro, feeling very confident in what he can actually achieve, whether it be split pushing. You heard him talking to his coach beforehand about how he's able to best assess and really bring that to his team element.
Yeah, but you know the thing, talking to Cesaro as well just before, yes, confident in his ability on the champion, but you can tell he's a true competitor because he still has a lot of respect for his opponent. He was mentioning that everything changes when it's game time. You know, rehearsals, scrims, that's one thing. It's a whole nother when you get to this stage and when everything's on the line.
Well, okay, so here we're looking at the actual lane matchups, and obviously you're going to put this information together yourselves, but for me, Tigers, I'm genuinely most excited as a support main to watch Aframu versus Meteos. It was hilarious to watch yesterday. I can't wait to watch it here on the actual day.
Especially because of the aggression that we see out of both and what that ends up enabling for their laners. We know Aframu and Meteos are going to be going at it the entire time. Rick Fox, we actually heard Rick saying how it enables his aggressive play that he wants to do. So we might see that just affect the overall feel of game 1.
I mean, they called their shots, right? In the interviews, they were like, oh, it's going to be aggression. We're going to fight from the beginning. And again, that accelerated game time and the way that this game, Wild Rift, was built out, it really does facilitate fighting earlier. We talk about some of the differences, and we will continue to talk about those differences as we dive into the game. But the biggest one I want to call out, level 5, you get your ultimate. Doesn't seem like a ton, but one level earlier, everyone's hitting those power spikes, and everybody is looking to fight that much sooner.
We'll get to see those changes here live as we get into match number 1. You can see all the players holding the devices close in the mobile gamer stance here. And Tigers, as we get into this first game, there are things that are different, not just about the playing experience of Wild Rift, but of the viewing experience as well. What are some key things for our viewers to be looking out for?
Yeah, so as this is our first time bringing to the North America audience a view of Wild Rift, and we will be tuning into the actual player perspectives. You can see the champ select screen right now, which should look pretty familiar to a degree to anyone familiar with League, but we'll be following along with them, and the viewing experience dash, already we're seeing some of those differences in the models.
I was going to say Champ Select looks about the same, but look at these models and the animations.
So
I love seeing all of this on display right there on those beautiful screens from the iPhone 12 Pros, straight into the loading screens. I'm taking a look at summoners already, and I'm trying to figure out if anyone's gone for anything that's going to kind of throw us for a loop. The first thing that jumps out to me, Tigers, is Master Yi with Ghost. I think one important thing to call out to everybody at home is the fact that summoner spells, all spells really, have lower cooldown. So Ghost is on a 90-second cooldown. You can use that constantly for aggression.
So while some of the kits of these champions are nearly identical to what you're used to, the differences in those cooldowns and things can make a big difference in the play itself. So a few things we want to point out to you while you are watching this at home. Key difference between traditional Summoner's Rift on the PC as opposed to Wild Rift is when you are on the blue side, it looks like the traditional Rift you're used to, but if you are playing red side, it will be a flipped map and a viewing experience in itself that's quality difference.
Definitely, but I think it also should be mentioned that they've done a fantastic job in the reversing of the sides there to give you the perspective, but also to give you the information straight off the bat of where each lane should be expected to go so that there isn't confusion when it comes to everybody finding their lane right off the bat. But here we are, straight into some of the action in the bot lane. Aframu and Rick Fox looking for that early push as Cesaro already level 2. I love to see the warding. Even in Mobile Legends here, we are going to get that warding out nice and quick.
Vision wins games, baby. I have a feeling some coaches were putting in some work too, reminding these players of that. Dardoch and Boy not wanting anyone to lose out to a surprise gank that could have been prevented. But here in the mid lane, this is where I want to keep my eyes on, because while Nate Hill and Zed were both a bit cautious coming into this based on their experience, there's a lot on their shoulders for the carry potential and the damage output and what can happen with the junglers coming down there too. So maybe it won't all just be on this bot lane where there's already some poking going down.
I like to call it on Nate Hill though. He's laying a lot of poke down there in the range versus melee matchup mid. We know how important that is. But another thing I want to focus in on early here while we still have some time before all the big team fights break out is the UI. You might be noticing the highlighting of both minions and champions. That's the indicator of what your champion is at the moment going to target if you spam that attack button there on the right-hand side. But there's another important addendum here. You see a minion icon and a turret icon. This is fantastic because it allows you, especially when you're under turret, to be precise with who you want to be targeting at any moment so you don't just rip turret aggro at the wrong moment.
Exactly. This is a dual stick control type system. You notice that rotating circle over on the left side used for movement, and then those attacks over on the right. So increasing that accessibility and that ease for mobile so you're not fumbling your fingers exactly.
Yeah, Rick Fox making his way back out onto the map after a quick buy. You may have noticed there on the left side of the screen next to those gold coins, those are the quick buy items as we got action in the top lane. Cesaro going for it. Level 5, will he find it? First blood goes to Chrissy Costanza on the E.
The masterful gank to come on through, does not care that the ultimate is up, waits it out, completes the kill. Props for that coordination here early on Wild Rift.
Yeah, calling the jungler over, recognizing the aggression from the Tryndamere at level 5 with the ultimate, wanting to make the turret dive happen. So Joe Manganiello here in a pretty position, Garen level 6 already in that matchup against Tryndamere.
So one thing that when we're talking about the different personalities we get to see come here, I'm excited to see Joe Manganiello here because I also recently, well, let's actually take a break because he's getting some damage to him. Okay, finding safety under the tower. But I actually recently did a rewatch of all of How I Met Your Mother and got to enjoy some of his performances from that. So super cool seeing him dive into this.
I thought you were going to say you recently rewatched Magic Mike. But, you know.
Hey, that too. Epic performances in all of those, and hopefully an epic performance here on the Rift today as we take another look at the duo lanes, Meteos and Emily here. Very healthy, got a good push. Not too, you know what, I'm surprised. There's a little less action. I think both teams a little timid here today. They definitely don't want to throw it away too early.
Perhaps when there's more on the line, even if it is just bragging rights,
No, there's a statue on the line. Let's be real here.
Yeah, for somebody who's going to be able to take advantage of that. And, you know, I don't blame them for taking it a little more safe there in the bot lane. The CC that is capable over from the Ashe and Janna can be very impactful. But revisiting here in the mid lane, As you can see, pretty expected, similar to League of Legends, but the poke continues, but only a single death from that earlier gank that we saw so far.
Yeah, very cautious, but of course, again, everyone now has ultimates, so we're looking for that next big fight. You can see there Meteos using his indicators to figure out if and when he wants to cast his ultimate. Again, very intuitive. All your movement is going to be on the left side of the screen. All of your abilities, all of those activatables are going to be on the right side of the screen, all within thumb's reach.
I do really enjoy that you can kind of basically say, all right, my right hand, that's my damaging hand, my shielding hand, that's my do-everything hand. And I gotta do everything right here in the top lane as Tryndamere pushes forward, gets the kill onto Joe, so that will be a death to the opposite side, some return fire.
Yeah, Cesaro gets one back. He was not satisfied with a 2v1 death that he put up earlier, so evening it up in kills 1-1. He's gonna get a nice 1900 gold buy as he jumps back to base. Can't wait to see what he picks up. Again, items. That's another thing we haven't gotten too deep into, but there are both some similarities and differences within League of Legends and League of Legends Wild Rift. You'll notice, we got action though, so we're not going to talk about items as the fight breaks out. Meteos looking for it. The Monsoon comes out from Aframu, healing through the damage. Emily, though, laying it down, and the kill comes through for Sona.
Great use of the crescendo to get the initial damage and follow up from the remaining laner to complete that kill. 4 kills now over to the red side, and it's starting to mount pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's heating up now, just past that 5-minute mark. Remember, we clued you all in. Typical game time, 15 to 20 minutes, so we're a quarter of the way through already. Taking a peek into the jungle here. I love seeing this as more of that vision comes out. Great to see it, Cesaro. You may notice, if you're a longtime League of Legends player, the jungle's a little bit smaller. Movement around the map is going to be a little bit quicker, and so again, I think it highlights the importance of strategic play and teaming up with your fellow team members.
And you'll still find all your favorite monsters just in that condensed fashion, like you mentioned, and some slight differences to the buffs and things that we'll get into as they come up on the map throughout the game. We're just a bit past that 6-minute mark, going back over to the mid lane. There's a jump down. Nail trying to get the action, but Apex finds himself in trouble. Will he get out of this? Luckily, has some support on the other side and using the movement speed to come. The Sona ult slowing down Janna after, and the kill goes over to Nail, feeling pretty good on the Zig.
The bouncing bomb there to follow it up. Rick Fox taking a dangerous path straight through the jungle. He will get away just in time as Cesaro here playing the objective focus game, taking down Rift Herald for his squad.
Cesaro is so focused on objectives while still managing to lean into that aggression, going into the enemy jungle and warding, making sure that he gets the rift in response to the action on the other side of the map. But Zed finds himself in trouble as there's a whole onslaught of enemies that are running right into his face, and you can expect them to go ahead and push this wave towards tower as well.
You may have just noticed, taking a look at Aframu's screen there, picked up boots, and boots within Wild Rift are actually an activatable item. It's like a mini Predator for those of you who are familiar with some of the keystones on League of Legends, but those boots will also be upgradable into your active items. So boots in and of themselves do not have to be a single item. They will upgrade into something else, and I kind of love the way that they get more fluidly incorporated into the game.
You have your base boots themselves that will offer a sprint upon activation, and then when you upgrade them to the next one, you'll see those traditional, Ionic as well as Ninja Tabby, and then after that, you upgrade into a lot of the actives that will look familiar as well, including things like Stasis and Redemption.
Yeah, level 9, so tier 2 ultimates are in as we're looking at some pressure here. Cesaro wants the kill onto Joe, but will he find it? No, the Garen gets away with a sliver of health, but Shelly is doing work on that side of the map.
Yeah, still managing to continue that pressure, and luckily with his abilities, Cesaro can get some heal to keep himself pressured in that lane. You can see the drop down happening now, but how will the enemy team respond? Because things can snowball extremely quickly considering the towers, you only have 3 per lane. That last one serving as an inhib, being able to spawn those super minions later, but that lane can go down pretty quick.
Yeah, when we see some of those start to go down, we'll make sure to refresh you on some of those mechanics because there is a difference there. But another big fight here in the duo lane. Will the super... That's what I wanted, Emily, and she delivers with the super mega death rocket.
Say, hey, Ash, you got a global, I got a global too, and it hits super hard. I've been watching Emily for quite some time with her FPS work, and the mechanics are still there. Does get a temporary knockup from that Howling Gaze, but they're just going to continue pressuring this and clearing the wave as it comes so they can try and get some damage on that turret.
Yeah, and well, as a core champion, it's a lot of auto attacking for Jinx. I think it's impressive to see the skill shot accuracy that's been coming out of Emily so far on Jinx, both the W, the ultimate, and even those chompers. As we take a look at the mid lane again, Nate Hill looking to get some pressure onto that mid turret, really open up the map.
And with someone like Ziggs, pressure onto a turret can happen pretty quickly once you start clearing this wave. Enemy jungler is in sight. Nate Hill very aware of this. You can see him on the right, talking to his team a bit as well.
As both the FaZe boys. I wonder if there's even more at stake between the two of them, coming from the same org but being on different teams.
We're here to represent, right? But on the other side, you know, Aframu and Rick Fox, both being longtime staples of the league scene, have something to prove for themselves, working together in this bot lane. Meteos is attempting to come to slow it down, uses the crescendo, and that's a lot of damage onto Ashe. Has to pop the heal to get out, and luckily no deaths on that end as the turret itself finds its end.
Woo! Getting away with slivers of health, all three of them. You know, Zed did call out. He's got some slick moves that he's ready to throw out onto the Rift, and he dodged that Sona Crescendo with his ultimate. So that's that skill expression we're talking about. You're still going to get those heightened league moments within this game.
Yep, your buddies that aren't as used to the game can have fun. Your buddies that are can show just how good they can rock it on the Rift, even when it's wild. We're starting to get to that point of the game, though. We're at the 10-minute mark, most games averaging 15 to 20. Seeing those lanes start to get collapsed upon and things like vision becoming that much more important.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see some of the power of grouping up as well, though. As we've pressed that 10-minute mark you mentioned, we're seeing a lot more grouping between the teams. The Ashe arrow comes out. Will there be follow-up? Doesn't look like it, as Ziggs is raining in bombs from the top side there. FaZe Apex taking tons of damage. The exhaust comes down on Zed. It looks like retreat mode in total here for the blue team.
The direction coming right over from that river offers a lot of damage, and you can see on the off screen that Ziggs was able to still get a pickup. Aframu doing his best to have his place known in this fight. The Howling Gaze delayed in its offset, so this is just going to allow Cesaro to get out safely, which is enough at this time.
Now, a rampage for the Ziggs player in Nate Hill. I'm surprised with how many people were around that mid lane that only one kill went over, as both teams will now take a moment to reset, get control of those global objectives. You see Dragon here. A lot of those common global objectives that you'll know or think of fondly still exist here on Wild Rift. As Cesaro, again, objective focus, starts it up.
And the dragons themselves are similar to prior to Soul being implemented. You still get the elemental drakes with Inferno and everything else, and then your Elder is a bit more traditional. We do have a fight over at the Dragon, though. Nate Hill finds himself in trouble as the ultimate has been popped by Tryndamere, but gets popped again by Jinx, who gets the double kill. Emily is trying to shut them all down, and she is putting in the work doing it. Nate Hill doing his best to follow his support and get that protection here. Can he finish off? Bomb for hitting back, and here's Rick Fox finding himself between a rock and a hard place. 4 hard places at that as they complete the kill. The enemy ADC gone to the wayside.
Yeah, the kite was almost there, but the red team is on fire at this point. Emily really stepping it up here on the Jinx. Going to chase down one more kill here on to FaZe Apex. I think with that Sona speed, easy lockdown. And an overkill Ziggs ultimate for good measure. Why not?
That Sona speed, as well as you can see, are constantly getting these kills and linking them together, getting excited, getting right on to the next one. So we're going into this talking about the Aframu Rick Fox bot lane, but clearly a lot of prowess here on the opposite end as well.
Yeah, 5-1-2 now stands that Jinx. Going to have a fantastic 3K gold buy when she does decide to back. That's an item and a half almost. Also loving these over-the-shoulder shots, actually getting an opportunity to see the players with their hands on the device, the ease at which they can control all of these champions and execute.
So here's where things get tricky. You see the split push that's happening over on the red side. Tryndamere putting that work over in the top lane with plenty of action happening here in the middle. That continued objective focus that has worked so well might be the trick.
Hey, macro game matters here on the Wild Rift as Meteos looks to start at the Baron, thinks better of it as they're realizing maybe a base defense rather is what they need. The 2v1 in the bot lane, but Nate Hill comes up with the kill, keeping the base turrets alive.
Hey, he was putting in work to keep them shoving when they were trying to be aggressive, and right now in the defensive stance, still having a heavy impact. That coordination coming full on through. And also, we're talking about the itemization a bit. You can see a lot of the items are similar to what you expect to see from League of Legends, with some differences being a bit more streamlined.
Yeah, you saw there the activatables in everybody's inventory at the moment. But right back over to that Baron. Again, Cesaro leading the charge on the global objectives. Let's see if they can get it, though, without the contest.
Ends up getting executed by Tryndamere. Is anybody else going to follow up on this? There you go. They get the Baron buff, and here we are in the late game where that can be a game ender.
Oh, purple minions are about to flood the map, and if there's anything a Tryndamere wants, it's that extra power right alongside him as he looks to split push to victory. Zed, quick. Back out onto the map here, looking for those kills, those exterminations, if you will, playing the assassin.
Yeah. And in terms of having this buff, if you're looking at the map state itself, 3 turrets remaining. These turrets themselves do operate as inhibs as well. So trying to push through in one of these lanes and potentially get that going.
Yeah, playing a cautious game around that Garen. Just going to look to push out the waves. Take a look at this dispersion of teammates. You got the full-on 1-3-1. You best believe those pro players are calling the shots.
Oh, they are committed to it. You can see Ash moving up through the mid lane, but in here is where the action's going. Cesaro narrowly escaping. The final poke over from Ziggs, and Nate Hale manages to grab another one.
Look at the mid lane.
Oh, straight into some more action. Wow, the red team taking advantage on the bot side. The blue team is pushing in on the mid lane with that Baron buff. These Nexus turrets are not long for the world. You mentioned there that acts as an inhib as well. So super minions are about to come pouring through the mid lane. Meteos getting caught out as well.
Meteos right behind them, tries to flash away, but look at all the slow that's happening. Doesn't matter if he tries to put the aura up. Instead, he just finds his death.
Yeah. Rick Fox going to A-move him down, taking a look at... I talked to him just yesterday, and he was talking about how much he appreciates that in this game, again, there's a little bit more index towards knowing where to be and when, and how to play the situation necessarily, as opposed to being the most mechanically skilled and actually being able to do the full orb blocking motion. Straight in, though, for Zed. He wants that play.
He really does, but finds too much damage. The Nexus, you see it, it's a turret, too. That's going to blast you with a shot, and he steps in range and suffers the consequences.
Yeah, first time we're seeing that. That might catch some people off guard if it's their first time on Wild Rift. Aphromoo trying to get the turret down, 44 HP. You can see the smile across his face. He knows he was close.
Yeah, you just got to smile at that, right? Because he still made a heavy impact for his team, proving obviously that objectives are still the way to win it, down in kills, but up in turrets, up in gold, up in every way that they can imagine.
And without fail, every time a global objective is up, Cesaro is there to take it down. Now a Cloud Drake to their name. Interesting, we mentioned some of the differences between the two games. The Cloud Drake here does give you movement speed straight off the bat as opposed to ultimate cooldown. It increases out of combat, but definitely that movement is going to help them with linking up with their teammates and making sure they can get these pushes down. As we take a look at that mini-map, you see that red flare going off. The base is going down on the other side.
Yeah, the red team, though, they're choosing mostly to just stick to what they're doing right now to try and take out the enemies. Apex puts himself into the back line and finds his death, but here we are, other side. Nick is hitting.
Nate Hill! What are you doing, man? Come on, oh my God, that was so impressive.
It's still...
Woo! He just saved the game for his team.
He did.
That Nexus was at like 400 health. Now they've got the push advantage on the other side. They're looking to do work on that mid turret. Let's see if they can push through, but can they get onto that Nexus for the finish?
Oh, they have broken through, and the Nexus is here wide and open. Still going to try to shoot on them, but who is here to contest? They're mostly between their turret and the opposition. That's one death. Zed getting that onto the Garen. The rest of the team, it tries to in response, not having a tank to push between that damage, but they still have the chance to try and clear some of these waves and go without too many losses. That's the ultimate, but the death mark also comes as a response. Someone tries to move away, mitigate the damage as much as possible, and that's the Meteos we love to see, getting that kill onto Zed, keeping the team in it. They do not want to back off of this base.
I mean, he called it. He said, look out for those Sona mechanics, and that's about as many mechanics as you're going to see on Sona with the flash and heal away, but he comes up with the kill. The Ash Arrow out, though. The blue team does not want to die.
Yeah, Trindamere directly into the back line with the expiration, and Emilite gets the final deets of digits off of his HP line. And the push continues. This is probably one of the longest that we would have expected to see in Wild Rift of a team continuously being in the enemy base.
Well, on to the Nexus now. 2K health. Emilite leading the charge for the team. 8 kills to her name, but can they get the finish as the full defense is on display? Rick Fox taking down Emilite. Does he have all the damage? Has to back off. But again, we got the blue team a little worried about closing it out.
But then Meteos is just here. Yeah, exactly. Hitting that heel, saying, it's okay, I got you. You saw my mechanics earlier. I kept myself alive to keep you alive. But eventually, you're going to have to find a chance to back off.
400 health on that blue team Nexus. They are relegated to their base at the moment. Funnily enough, Joe on the Garen opposite side of the map is on minion duty, just picking up those super minion waves, putting the cash in the pocket. We'll see if he can manage to build a split push of his own in the coming minutes.
That's always kind of that awkward feeling place to be, right? Well, I'm on defense duty trying to catch your team up within these lanes to hopefully create an advantage. Looking back over on the blue side, they're still pushing through this mid lane. They opened this up wide long ago, but they weren't able to compete through a fight. Here's an attempted start. The spinning Cesaro trying to make... there's actually Joe running away. He tries to hit them with the Demacian Justice, but can't find a kill off of it. Continues to follow up on his support speed.
It's the Zerg! It's the Zerg on the Nexus! They're just gonna go for it! Do they have the damage to get it down? I'm not sure they do! Nate Hill's popping off!
Nate Hill, the protector of the Nexus!
What? All right, this is already the most intense game of Wild Rift we have seen here this week.
Yeah, keep in mind, we're past 20 minutes. Death timers, super long feeling when you get to this point.
Exactly that. You play in a mobile game, you want to be able to get in and get out quickly with all of that intensity that you love from League of Legends, and it comes right here. There is a big penalty as the game goes on in terms of how long you will be dead, so it just forces you to play that much more carefully. We've got some aggression here onto the Nexus. Meteos just phase tanking it to try and get the win, but is the damage there? Emilite's going to try and lay it down. 600 health on the Nexus. Will she get those final kills? Yes! She does. She locks it in.
Oh my! What did I just watch? That was insane.
That was a game of League of Legends Wild Rift, my friend.
Their Nexus was at 300 HP at one point.
Both hit 300 health at one point. Why? I mean, woo! We got 2 more of these.
Yeah. I see big breaths being taken.
Yeah!
There
it is! The confidence is building. You love to see it. An impressive Garen performance, holding it together there in the top lane against Cesaro. Remember, it all started with that first blood as he called Chrissy up to help secure that early advantage. That was big.
The top lane, a huge part of how this matchup went down. But can we talk about Nate Hill on this Ziggs? There was the fight in the top lane with the pack to blast them backwards. There was at the Nexus of 300 HP, the double kill to keep the game going. Nate was incredible in this game.
Oh, yeah. That game could have ended a while ago. And that's what we're talking about, having these picks where he can still have that skill expression, using his utility properly. And I still got just as excited if this was on PC, which just makes me the happiest I can be.
My heart's pounding. My heart is absolutely pounding right now, but it's a great call out on Nate Hill there on that Ziggs. I am wondering, though, if we can get some words from the blue team here. I want to know what went down, what the immediate diagnosis is. So let's see if we can check in here with Rick Fox.
I believe it. Rick, we'll be able to talk to him in just a moment. And I got to get their thoughts, too, because it's going to be so difficult, I feel like, to bounce back from a game where you were hundreds of HP away from winning the game. How do you change it up here in game 2? Yeah, blue team's going to have a little bit of recouping to go. All right, Dash, let's talk to Rick.
All right, let's do it. Rick Fox, how you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, buddy.
Yes.
So close so far. Both Nexuses at one point during that game were at 300 health. Talk to me. What happened?
I've seen it before. It doesn't matter if it's on the PC or the phone. You get those moments that you just want to just die for, and we were right there. I thought even with the kill disparagement there, we still had a chance to win, and that's the beauty of the game, right? And we tried to run it down middle at the end there, but that sliver left and fell just a little bit short. They played well in the first game. but that's why it's a series.
Yeah, exactly. We got 2 more to go, so just one more question for you. What do you think's got to change? What are you looking to switch up here in game 2 to bring it back?
Well, they did a good job, I thought, of recognizing one of our strengths in Cesaro up top, and so they focused on getting him a little neutralized up there early game, and we just got to be a little more aggressive. I think Zach would probably agree with that, Afremu, right? A little more aggressive. I thought we probably played a little too safe.
I want more aggression. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, Rick Fox, I'm going to let you link back up with the team, strategize for game 2, because I want a 1-1 at the end of match number 2, all right?
Yes.
All right, we'll see you out there on the Rift. Tigress, who we talking to?
I gotta get some words from Joe. We mentioned the impact that he had in the top lane. Joe, do you have me in your ear?
Man, I can hear you. Yeah, it was big for me to get out there and get some first blood in that lane. I think that helped out a lot.
Yeah, Cesaro kept you on your toes, though, constantly pushing over in objectives. What were you focused on during the entirety of that game?
Well, Cesaro and I go back a ways. I used to get involved at WWE shows in LA, so he knows me from getting involved from the crowd. So I got a lot of respect for that guy. I wanted to jump out and get a strong showing in game 1.
I'm curious to hear your opinion on this. I know you are no stranger to gaming and fantasy culture. You spend plenty of time playing D&D down in your customized basement, which I highly respect, by the way. How does that compare to here, kind of sitting in this entire Nexus? We're directly on the Rift, but with a mobile experience.
Well, it's great to be out here. I've got a team which is very much like tabletop gaming, and also the idea of getting into a character, understanding a character build, understanding the strengths and weaknesses of a character, and then strategizing. I had some, I got to give credit to my coach. He coached me up before game 1. So it was, but there's a lot of similarities between tabletop and the Rift.
Well, thanks, Joe. It's great to get that insight, and we're looking forward to seeing you in 2 more games after this.
That's right, and thanks for the fans out there who picked Garen. Who knew the man had white hair and an eye patch? I mean, come on, what could be better?
It was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, right? When looking at the champions that are being played today, is they are voted on by the fans. So thank you to all of the fans for your participation in today's event.
I also love the credit he threw to Void Boy, though, as his coach. You know, Void Boy, a dean of his own institute, he took everyone to school, and it's paying off already in dividends.
Yeah, this whole day is already. I'm already completely satisfied with the action we got. I can't believe we get 2 more games here. Let's talk a little bit more about what happened in that game. We heard Rick Fox say that he felt that maybe their team was a little bit too passive, and this was by far the most cautious game we've seen from them now.
Definitely off the start. I do think that makes sense, though, given the stakes here in the game and everybody kind of want to feeling it out. But again, I gotta go to Tigress's sleeper pick on Nate Hill there, just totally manhandling the mid lane, as well as Emily stepping up in a big way for some of those cleanups. And I think those 2 players in particular stepping up really brought them over the top.
Their willingness to stick around even when they themselves are low, showing kind of that context as gamers, you know exactly how long to stay or welcome, really paid off in them being able to secure some of these kills and objectives.
Nate Hill's not a League of Legends player, but did you see him use that Zonia's? 90% of PC League of Legends players don't use their actives, and this man is already putting them on full display here on this stage. As we take a look at the final moments again, notice the Nexus is a turret in and of itself, but the intelligent juggling of the aggro here to make sure that they could get just enough damage out to get through that 4K HP and secure the first victory.
It was an incredible game. Team Cap, you can see Avram just didn't even know what to think. Now, I want to take the moment to talk to the coaches of the teams that just put on that incredible display at Dardoch. Like, talk to me. Like, what are you thinking as a coach watching it go back and forth like that?
Yeah, my heart was all over the place towards the end there, but yeah, definitely a really intense mobile experience.
For sure. I mean, Void Boy, we heard Joe giving you credit in his interview about how well this game went. Did you feel like everyone else followed the directions pretty clearly? Was this the plan, like have your Nexus get down to 300 HP and then go win the other way?
Oh yeah, totally, dude. It's the infinite content loop. Just got to get it down to the wire, make it as exciting as possible for the fans. But yeah, appreciate the shout out from Joe. I try to talk to everyone on my team, give them a little advice for their champs, and just how to play it and play together. So it was a very close game. Cesaro going crazy on the Trinimir, but we got an early game from Chrissy on top lane, helped Joe get a little bit ahead, so he's able to control him for a bit. And then, Nate Hill just going insane on the zigs, man. This guy plays Fortnite, plays chess. Now he's coming into the league. He's going to have to take these LCS spots. I don't know, man. But,
and a jawline to boot.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. He's got everything. That's not fair. He can't be good at everything, man. But, it was really good to see our team get the first win. And, hopefully it can keep that momentum going into the next few games.
All right, so Dardoch, your team just suffered an incredible loss here. So close to wins, but still so far away. What do you got to tell them?
Well, first I got to start in the jungle, obviously, since I'm a jungler, and I got to give some advice to my guy on the Olaf, and hopefully he takes Smite next game. That would be a little more helpful. And other than that, I think we just need to listen to our in-game leader a little bit more. I think our strategy may have fell through towards the end there when it was a little more hectic.
Well, I'll let you guys get back to your teams. Gentlemen, I'm excited to see what you guys give us for Game 2. This has already been incredible. Game 2 adjustments, we hear maybe a little bit more aggression from the blue team here, but one of the important things is it's not going to be the exact same lineup, Tigress. One lane is swapping.
That's right. Just like how the viewers were able to determine what champions were played by all of our participants today, prior to each game, you will get one of the lanes to swap. You get to choose between the Twitch extension poll, and they will stay on their same champions though, so we won't have anything rocking that way.
Yeah.
But somebody's going to become a loser real quick, and someone's going to become a winner.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes down. Now, the coaches are currently talking to their players, giving them a little bit of instruction of how to adjust for game number 2, and they've been doing that for a little bit of time, and actually we got to catch up with Voyboy talking with Chrissy.
Are you practicing for the big tournaments?
Oh, absolutely.
So how do you feel about playing League on your phone?
I'm die-hard mouse and keyboard, so I was super nervous about it. But honestly, the mechanics are awesome. The controls are super easy to use. You're not missing anything that you have in a normal game on Summoner's Rift. Everything that you love is still there. Everything that you know is still there. It's just streamlined.
I think for sure you're gonna get MVP of the Wild Rift tournament.
Let's go! I'm ready.
Okay, some key words of advice there.
You see that the MVP call. The coach was calling, he thinks he's going to get MVP, and hey, that first gank was huge in aiding them to victory. I'm looking for a continued pop-off, though, here in Game 2, maybe even more aggression coming into those lanes.
Yeah, we still have to give credit to Chrissy. While the carry potential was coming from some of the other players, they were enabled by her play early on, and I'm super excited to see what she brings next.
Well, I'm excited also to find out which lane Twitch chat picked for the swap here, because that is going to genuinely change the dynamic of everything. These teams have been playing with this same 5 lineup for a few games now across 2 days, and we're about to throw all that out the window. I want to find out who's going to be Dash.
Let's remember the choices were mid and ADC as the positions that could swap here from Game 1 to Game 2. Still waiting on the official call there.
Oh, it's the mid lane!
It's the mid lane. Tigers, how you feeling about this?
Well, you know what? Both of these players are playing really well. So I think it's one of those things where even though Nate was clearly a star of his, maybe he can be a star on the other side.
I also think you got to consider, just though, as they are playing the same champions, the way that those champions now interact with the different team comps that they have working for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be crazy. We're to see Nate Hill easily one of the maybe MVP of game number 1, keeping his team's Nexus alive at 300 health, that defining moment. Now playing on the losing side. I want to see what the carry look's going to be there, but Zed also getting immediately swapped to the winning side. I'm going to be honest, with the way you named game number 1 went, I'm not sure that I feel like, do I want to swap teams here?
I don't know, feeling pretty even right now. So I'm curious to know what they think themselves about the swap, maybe what they've picked up from their time on their own teams. Will they take any of those secrets with them to the other side as double agents?
Yeah, I do want to make sure we get some words directly from Zed, being that he's in the hot seat. And now we'll be swapping over to that winning side. Zed, you went from being technically a loser after the first game to a winner. How does it feel?
Well, it feels weird because I feel like my team and I have gotten close with each other over the last 2 days. And this is definitely a curveball. But I'm also very excited to get to know my new team and show them all my secret skills that I haven't shown my first team yet.
Yeah, perhaps work on some icebreakers with the rest of your team to get into that competitive action. But you're not the only one that ended up making switch. Of course, we do have to get some words from the opposite side with Nate Hill.
That's right. Let's jump right over to Nate Hill. Nate, you had such an impressive base defense there to keep the team alive and ultimately snag the victory. And yet, Twitch chat's ejecting you over to the losing side. What's your initial reaction?
I'm a little upset, I'm not going to lie. I thought I played really well, and I really like my team, and now they're sending me off the island here.
I guess the silver lining or the flip side of that is maybe they think you're exactly the missing piece for the blue team to turn it around. Do you think you have what it takes as an individual to turn the tides and even us up at 1-1?
I know there's some really good players over on the blue team, so I think if I come over there, we should have a decent chance to even it up.
I like it. I like it. One final question for you just on that, Ziggs, as you were popping off, and I know that these last couple days have been a big learning experience. How do you feel the mastery has increased in just a short couple days' time?
Yeah, I haven't really played the league much. I played probably 15, 20 hours, and getting on this phone, it's kind of feels easy. And I think it's kind of leveled the playing field for people who have played a lot and people who are maybe newer like me. So I think it's pretty easy to pick up fast, and luckily I'm getting the hang of it.
I mean, if I can get as good as you are on this game already that quick, I would love it. Thank you so much, Nate Hill, for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
All right, those players now playing on different teams. They'll get to keep their seats. They're playing in they've swapped the colors of the Nexuses there, and you'll see this is going to continue to change things up because you guys are going to get to decide again for Game 3 which lane, jungle or top, will be swapping. And I feel like it's going to be top. Just going to put that out there because that was such a spicy lane. I want to see him on the other side.
Bizarro's giving you the one hand, my friend.
I just want to see it happen. I want to see the mix-up. It's crazy. It's the most exciting lane for sure. But chat, also, we couldn't do this without the ultra-fast, ultra-low latency network, the Verizon 5G ultra wideband network. They make this all possible out here. 5G gaming just got real.
Hi, I'm Chris Rock. Oh, it's not about me. I get it. No. Zoom in on it. The new iPhone 12 Pro with 5G meets Verizon 5G ultra wideband. 5G just got real, man. Remember when the Song of the Summer took the whole summer to download? One time I waited 51 minutes for Janelle Monáe's Dirty Computer to download. That's longer than the whole album. But these G's don't blink. Remember when you could only watch the NFL on TV? Remember when you didn't have 5 different camera angles? Football just got 5G real. Remember when the only way multiplayer gaming worked was with Wi-Fi? Boom, legendary fast with Verizon 5G. Remember when you found out esports was a real thing and kids half your age were making twice your salary?
Yep.
Remember when I tell you to clean your room?
Nope.
iPhone on Verizon 5G. 5G just got real. Pow! 5G ultra wideband. Now in more and more cities.
To game number 2 here, and you can see from that top drone view those swapped Nexuses of the players who are now playing on different teams. I just heard Joe welcoming Zed to the team and talking a little bit about this as we get into game 2, the champion lineup differences here. We now have a Ziggs moving over with the Tryndamere and the Ashe and the Janna. We have the Zed moving over with the Garen and the Jinx and so forth. Like, which lineup here do you favor more, Dash?
Honestly, I think the blue team got a nice steal here with the Ziggs coming over because they already have the great setup for the Tryndamere split push, and the thing we know best about Ziggs is wave clear. You saw the base defense. So the ability to play defensive while somebody else is in another lane looking for the aggression and to create the win, I think they got a solid upgrade.
Oh, yeah, but you do have to think about the other side as well. Maybe with a Zed here, maybe we'll see Master Yi coming down to attempt to get some of those gigs for that early pressure to prevent some of that wave clearance.
I mean, that's a really good point. Zed can completely take over a game. It's the style of champion, the type of champion that if gotten ahead early can just 1v9. So I like the consideration for focus towards the mid lane. Straight back into champion select, taking a look at those beautiful models and the different skins available to each of them.
Is that like is this like a Bilgewater Gangplank skin? With them like.
Sorry, I got distracted by hearing the red team shout out.
That's Shockblade Zed, man.
Oh,
electric, electricity.
Excuse me. He's got so much going on there. I saw last time we did have a skin
couple
battle.
Swords weren't enough.
There was Pentakill Olaf versus Pentakill Sona on opposite sides. A little bit of band rivalry.
Well, we know the power comes from the skins, right?
Of course, everything does.
Boom.
That's the only source of battery.
Straight into the load-in, right off the top of match number 2. I want to call everyone's attention to the orientation of the map. We hit it right before match number 1, but it can't be hurt, or can't rather hurt to hit it again. The great thing about this game is that players on both teams play from the same perspective. So they're going to play from bottom left up to top right. Those indicators straight there, you saw the blue arrow with duo and the purple arrow with solo. Those are going to tell people exactly which lanes they should go to. So while, yes, we are seeing Garen, the quote-unquote top laner, he is playing on the bottom side in terms of perspective to help even it up.
Yep, and you can look over at the mini-map, see where the Drake is positioned as well. A lot of different ways to orient yourself. It makes for a great experience when actually playing through. I'm wondering where the pressure is going to come down in this game with the switch-up happening in the mid lane, because they were kind of left to their own fruition right there at the start.
Yeah, Emily taking a little bit of punishment from Rick Fox there early on, but Meteos finds his way into lane. Probably going to hit level 2 and then look to sustain up with that W. Q for the damage early here. I think you called it out, Wave Punk. Will we see more aggression earlier on in this game? And taking a look at the mid lane, the players that were swapped, and already Nate Hill is laying down the hurt, forcing the back out of Zed.
Yeah, forcing it so early. It's funny because we're talking about how, yeah, Nate Hill coming new into the game, doing so well. Dude became a pro in 7 months. He's picked up multiple games. The man is a beast when it comes to gameplay, and it's obviously showing out here in Wild Rift.
And at the same time, it was this top lane here that was the source of the first blood in game number 1. Both players still playing a cautious game, though, as no kills have come through just yet. Players hitting level 3 now, access to almost all of their abilities. Emily just looking to get the push in. Cesaro low health. This could be scary.
And no ult available yet to protect him, and Garen can really follow up, especially when coming down with that damage here in lane, or at least try to push back for some additional CSing of his own. I'm curious to see where the gank ends up coming first, because looking at the pathing, it looked like Chrissy might make her way over towards the bot side.
Yeah, just now, heading that way into the jungle, maybe going to pick up one of those buffs before looking for a gank. Meteos, though, with the roam towards the mid lane. Let's see if he can find it. Playing the vision game. Everybody's coming to see if they can take down Nate Hill. I love it. Party mid lane, but the flash out under turret, and Apex wants the blood.
Attempting to come on through with the Master. The final hit from Zed for the kill. And that is in favor here of the red side. Hey, you're going to switch me to the other team, then I'm going to put up some work for that team.
He's angry now. You made him angry, and he's going to make you pay for it.
Here in the top lane, being that we aren't ultimately in the ultimate territory, I love to see the continuous poke from these two melee champions going back and forth, and hearing the insight that Joe offered of the history that he and Cesaro have from his past work with WWE.
Yeah, we'll see if that can net him another victory up there in the top lane. They are straight into a fight. Level 5, though, for Cesaro. So with the ultimate, pops it and drops the ignite, and that's a quick 1v1 kill for him.
Leveled up ahead of his opponent and made sure to take advantage. That's the decision making that leads to that in lane that will allow you to push for the continuous objectives. We mentioned before that here in the bot lane, Rick Fox had said how they were hoping to be more aggressive in this lane, which is curious considering the insight we had from rehearsal day, seeing just how many flashes can come out of this duo. And I'm sure they want to also punish what Meteos was able to have under his potential. And with the roaming coming from the enemy support, maybe more opportunities.
Ooh, right back to the mid lane. Good poke coming out of Zed there, using his shadow to do it. Meteos, though, Meteos appears out of nowhere looking for the gank, but takes a lot of punishment as Aframu manages to match it. No kills traded just yet in the mid lane. Very intelligent and safe play out of both teams so far.
Meteos came in for some pressure. Q not going to hit so far just yet, though, and kind of had to walk it out. And this at least kind of breaks up that continuous poke that was happening between the mid laners, too, and just alleviate some of that pressure.
I love seeing those wards come out. It always makes me a happy caster when I see newer players take advantage of the vision game. Apex here looking to pick up his blue buff, accelerate his jungle clearing. Everybody is level 5 now, so ultimates across the board, waiting for that first big trigger pull to start the fight, and there it is. The Ash Arrow comes out, lands onto Emily, is the follow-up there, as Meteos maybe is the target here. The A moving from Rick Fox on point, The exhaust comes out, though. He manages to back off. No kills traded just yet. Straight to the top lane, Tigers.
Mobility and zap enough for the attack, but the attack in the top lane is one that results in a clean hit from Cesaro down to the wire and recovers effectively. A solo kill at that, which can have a huge impact in freeing up the rest of the lane. But the poke actually continues down here in the bot lane. Meteo's pretty low on HP. Will have to use a lot of mana to try and heal himself back up.
They did get that return kill, though, onto Rick Fox. So as one kill goes over in the top lane, one is traded on the bottom side of the map. 3-2 stands the kill score. A very even game at this point.
Which that should leave so many possibilities. Last game was pretty even when you consider the different win conditions that the teams were playing into. One a bit more faced on the team fights and trying to get those kills and extend the timers. The other one pushing until no towers were left. Zed continuing to take some damage here again as the rotations come to the mid lane and always forced to back after that.
Yeah, Nate Hill just raining those bombs down for good poke. But we see here the red side team grouping up in the river around Chrissy. Will they look for a dragon? Will they look for an invade? Oh, the ash arrow out of the bush. No one expected that as we're looking at another fight breakdown. Joe gonna back out, realizing now that he's down a couple kills, needs to respect the power of that Tryndamere. Red team on full retreat here under their turret.
Now, the rest of the team luckily was able to rotate and be there with Meteo so that they couldn't eventually just collapse and finish off that kill. Now continue to pressure in the lane. The solo laners that are continuously left on their own up here. It's another kill for Cesaro. The continuous combo, popping his ultimate and finishing off the Garen.
Yeah, killing spree now for him. We talked about the decreased cooldowns here on Wild Rift, and so again, it can be very empowering when you get that initial injection of gold from an early kill to just keep running it at your opponents, and that's exactly what Tryndamere's built to do.
Yeah, and Garen's one of those champions that you'll feel pretty good if you're on Tryndamere's side, knowing that he's not just getting out of control because he comes and tries to hit you with that Demacian Justice later, and it can hurt. Meteos, though, finding himself poked down, heals himself up, throws out the ultimate, and the follow-up action from Emilite is here. Throws down the rockets even with the switcheroo, but she gets blessed in response. Temporarily stunned and can only back up so much. No flash available. Knocked up by the Howling Gaze. Should be one more line for the praise to happen onto Rick Fox as he gets the kill.
That's great follow-up from the team. 2 kills picked up after the Ocean Drake as well. Some good objective focus. You'll notice, though, Cesaro never misses a beat. Picked up the Rift Herald on the other side in response. While we're back in the shop, I also want to, again, call everyone's attention to the gold values and, of course, the items that are listed there. The great thing about Wild Rift is that recommended items, you can build out a set for yourself, and they will appear in order as you want them on the Rift for easy buys, but you still also have access to the shop in full value. Again, Joe in tough spot here, picking up the honey fruit, hoping that the health can save him, but Cesaro drops the ignite and looks for the kill, spins on top in the rampage.
No tower to stand behind. Cesaro, you put him in a ring, you put him on the Rift. He's gonna slam you down time and time again.
He is quite good at that. No stranger to the top lane, so very used to those 1v1s. I think he's in his comfort zone now with a bit of a lead here to just split push to victory. They're going to have to find a response here on the red team to that aggression from the Tryndamere.
A lot of the blue side are clustered over here in the top lane, and Cesaro is having to enter to try and continue this push. They've activated the Rift Herald, going to get a nice hefty hit onto this tower that, once again, remember, it does act as an inhib as well, allowing them to spawn those super minions now that it's destroyed.
Yeah, a lot of pressure to the top side, forcing the entire red team to come over and respond. Means another turret goes down in the mid lane. I think we're starting to see some suffocation here on the Rift.
This is what we saw during the last game, right? Just because of the pressure that was created ahead of time, forced into, the mid lane. We're seeing more of that team fighting. The timer's starting to get longer. We're almost at the 9-minute mark, which can be a halfway mark in a lot of the games within Wild Rift.
Again, level 9s coming in across the board, so that means level 2 ultimates are available to most of our players with increased cooldown on that, or rather decreased cooldown, I should say, means more action more often.
Our eyes are back on Meteos, a duo with Emily that has done so well with wave clearing and pressuring the enemy. The attempted flank could be coming here on the side. They did get some vision for a moment, so Cesaro was a bit forecasted. A nice stun onto Emily and the continued follow-up, but luckily has the protection against the Howling Gaze, so she can back up behind the tower. Meteos continuing to offer that support.
Yeah, fantastic find with the arrow, but even in the 3v2, can't manage to secure the kill as the blue team, or rather red team, retreats under the safety of their own first-tier turret. Meteos looking to establish some vision, just track the opponents here in the river. Let's see if they find the collapse here on Rick Fox. He's going in.
But we're revisiting temporarily over onto the top side, seeing the work that Joe is putting here. But back here on the bottom, there is the continuous layering of the CC Meteos all the way brought down. But he's got the heal to back off, and the rest of the team, Zed's jumped into the middle of the action, but only to find his own demise. Another kill under the belt of Cesaro, completely dominating within the rift. And that's a great thing to follow up on here, as you can see those death timers starting to extend.
Yeah, a 1 for 2 as the Tryndamere finds 2 for himself, and boom, straight onto Meteos' face. Cesaro is looking to put a close on this one, and in much faster fashion than the first go-around.
He's found himself in the middle of the fight. Joe, can he get the hit? Another knock up, a double for Aframu. I want nothing else than to see some of that aggressive action here from the bot laner in the line of support. This should allow them to take down the turret, no problem. A lot of damage onto Cesaro in the process, but he can keep himself alive and protected for the rest of the team. Slam down Ziggs with the follow-up, and that's an AD carry gone for the opposition, a major source of power in their comp.
Yeah, the 3-man squad, Nate Hill using those abilities to knock down the turret when it gets to low health. I think that may have caught Emily a little off guard there. We're going to have the retreat from the blue team, though, back to the Dragon, seeing if they can snag some of these global objectives, help them in their move to victory.
And their full team here, they have no problem in securing it. The enemy's probably aware that this was happening and didn't want to engage in something that they couldn't come out of safely. And in a response, we might get a little bit of a reset here after getting this buff, but still some rotation over into the mid lane and the action to boot. Another ultimate for Meteos to get that directly on to the Zig, but Nate Hill finds himself into the back of the fight. Garen taking too much damage from the bomb poke and the ash to boot. They're continuing in pursuit. Will the pursuit be enough? Zed, one more shot to his head, and that's another kill for Rick Fox, putting the rocks in all of the socks of the enemies. They're in their graves once more.
Wavepunk is feeling it. Red team started the fight, but the blue team finishes it, and now they turn their sights onto the Baron, again wanting that purple butt to help them push to victory.
They already started getting some chips onto that top tower. They've got a wave pushing up that way as well, but it has been met. Some clearing happening in the mid lane. I can expect to maybe see some action there. It doesn't look like anyone's going to contest this objective, and the Baron has been secured.
Baron's no joke on the Wild Rift. Did you see Aframu having to pop Monsoon there just to keep everyone alive with 4 hitting it? That's an impressively strong Baron right there.
That and even some of the late game tower hits and things still kind of rocking them a bit. Now that they have it, we'll have to see what they do with it.
Yeah, this game can be punishing. Again, I think it's important to highlight that there still is a serious focus on strategic play, those heightened moments, and those outplays. I think right now, eyes on Zed to see if he can make an outplay and maybe turn this around.
Oh, is he going to try? But also to note on your screen, if you missed this before, you can see the boots down in the bottom right corner. That is because the base boots do have actives with them that you can upgrade into additional actives that'll look familiar to any League of Legends players. Yeah. Right there to click with the rest of them.
Every single one of your abilities there, though, on the right side of the screen. So very centralized in that sense, while the movement is on the left side. Looking for the chase down is Zed and Meteos right now, but that is a strong Tryndamere you're looking to fight.
And a bit too speedy for him to get out of that. Meteos wouldn't have been able to connect unless he flashed for something, and not guaranteed to follow up with enough damage. And it looks like most of the action over in the mid lane, the bot lane has been sent over there too to just match the Ziggs.
Traded kills on the AD carries. The double kill, though, comes through for Nate Hill in the mid lane. It looks like that's going to establish a nice amount of pressure and force the rotation out of Meteos and Zed just to keep those turrets alive.
Those Baron-empowered minions are making their way down. You can see how hard the cannon is hitting the turrets. But Meteos and Zed, they just want to mitigate this as much as possible. Meteos enough in his kit to offset the damage of the Ziggs ultimate, but that's really just used to continue the pressure, and with one more hit, that tower is eliminated.
Yeah, who wins, Ziggs poke or Sona heals? It's a hard one to call, but as you mentioned, with those Baron minions, the turret does go down. Cesaro looking for the kill under turret. He's going straight into the base. The ultimate is popped. Will he get out? Over the wall, the Super Mega Death Rocket cannot find the kill, and Meteos is now on a shopping spree.
Hits them with the moves. You gotta respect that aggression and play-making mindset. Visiting back over on the blue side, I personally just love the smiles and what we're seeing, the intensity from all of the players as we tune into them as well.
A treasure trove to spend there for the Tryndamere, backing with 3K gold. Nate Hill in a 1v1 right now with Emily, but Rick Fox going to step up to support that Ziggs.
Yeah, Rick Fox and Nate Hill have been paired together for quite some time to apply this pressure here in the mid lane. And it's pretty much called for somebody on the opposite side to always be there because of the wave clear. Leaves little options really when you're trying to make a play for yourself.
Now, 20-6 in kills, 15-minute mark we just crossed, and yet it does seem like the pace has slowed just a little bit. Maybe some trepidation here out of the blue side in terms of figuring out how to put a close on this game.
And they did elect to reset in times where they could have technically pushed forward, but they might be forced into a fight just by the other team that is attacking right now. There's the zap directly onto Aframu, so he can't back off. He's trying to use his CC to keep everybody else backed up, but the pursuit of Meteos as well as Chrissy is just too much. Monsoon under the tower for some healing. Can you get that shot onto the Meteos? It doesn't matter!
The cross-map Nexus kill! Wavepunk, he heard you talking about the importance of that top lane, and Cesaro brings it home for the blue team with the Tryndamere split push.
He popped out of his chair.
He did?
That was quite the win.
His throne, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah,
his Nexus.
Nexus throne.
Not an insult to call it a chair.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
How dare you.
We are in chairs.
Can we talk about game number one? Blue team was actually trailing in kills the entire game, but kept it so close. This time, Tigers, they jump out to an early lead, and they just run away with it.
Like we said before, we heard from Rick Fox directly saying that he wanted to see more aggression from the team and that it sounded like everyone was on the same page. They do have their coaches to go and revisit as well between. And I think we saw a lot of strength from them in game one. Now we just saw it even better executed.
Yeah, it was that 1v1 up there in the top lane. I mean, unassisted, 3 kills in a row for the Tryndamere, helping him get out to that early lead and putting him in a position to have no fear diving beyond base turrets.
I mean, was there anything Cesaro didn't do? I mean, he was like leading in kills, I believe. He was leading in objectives. He gets the Nexus at the end. I mean, you want to talk about like an MVP just of game two? I'm giving it to Cesaro.
I feel that. Saying before when we were talking about it, he's saying Tryndamere is so broken. I can do so much with him. And the split push potential is where a lot of that is unlocked. So getting those early kills really worked out for him.
We saw him at one point diving into the base under 3 towers. Again, bases crunched a little bit. You're in multiple towers ranges at all times. Knew how to use his ult and knew how to use his ability to get through the walls. Like, this guy's a master.
Yeah, he snaked right out of there, dodged the Jinx rocket on the way out as well, made it look super clean. And then again, while the red team focus was on securing that dragon, he had his eyes set on the Nexus. I don't need no dragon to win. I just need damage.
The ultimate objective. All right, well, I want to talk to Cesaro.
Should we hear from the man himself?
Yes.
Let's do it. Cesaro, how you feeling, my friend? A split push to victory. Wavepunk called out the top lane as being impactful and looking at game two, and you brought it home.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I had to redeem myself after game one. Huge credit to Joe. He played great. I trying to focus on his weaknesses a bit in the second game. But huge shout out to my team. It is a team game, and they focused the dragon. They got their whole enemy team down there, so I can split push top, focus on my strength. So it is a team game, and it's fun.
Talk to me about your experience here in the top lane playing Tryndamere. I know you're no stranger to top lane from the PC version, but I don't think you're a Trynd main. So what's the transition been like here?
So I was just telling my team, Tryndamere, just for this reason, is my permaban on the computer, on the Rift. On the Wild Rift, on the other hand, I think I'll become a Tryndamere main because he's just so much fun to play here, and I feel like that's the fun part. It's so intuitive. It's so it just lets you experience different champions differently, and it's so much fun to play. So I tried to play Trendemir actually, in the warm-up game before we came here, and I had probably the worst game of the year. I got just smashed. So I have to redeem myself here on the Wild Rift, and it's so much fun.
Well, redemption is yours, my friend. Thank you for talking to us. Evening up
Thank
the
you.
series at 1-1. Let's see who takes it in Game 3, Wave Punk.
We certainly will see that one, but also there's two sides to every story, and Red Team here, after the most insane game number 1, kind of got a little bit handed to them, Tigers.
Yeah, it was a bit of a different performance than we saw before, and I think a lot of that came from the early lane pressure. Chrissy, it's good to hear some words from you. Now a win, now a loss. How would you compare the experience in both of the games?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I like that it's 1-1. I like the competitive. I don't want a 2-0 and then there we go. Just game 3 doesn't matter. Now it's competitive. Now everybody's ready to get sweaty on this third game, so it's going to be a blast. I love the switch ups. I'm really interested to see who's going to get switched next. It was awesome having Zed on our team. Zed is the one champion I can never lane against, so I was glad he was on my side this time.
I love to hear it, Chrissy. It's been great seeing you here in Wild Rift, and we'll get to see more from you in game number 3.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the greatest things when looking upon this, hearing kind of the details, everyone's experience from the past, whether it be different champions dash, I think having that translation of the skills.
Well, Chrissy, I know you recently picked up jungle. How is the Master Yi treating you? How are you liking it here on Wild Rift?
It's good. So yeah, I just started jungling, so I'm actually really new to the role. I'm a support main that switched to jungle to play ranked. I usually main Volibear, but I got my first pentakill ever on Master Yi, so maybe game 3 we're gonna see one of those. I'm aiming for it.
Oh, I would love to see it. I also love the call out for the 1-1. It makes it an impactful third match. Thank you so much, Chrissy. We'll see you on the Rift in just a bit.
Cool.
Now, thinking analytically about game 1 versus game 2, Tigris, was there a specific moment in game number 2 where you feel like things really were over and the blue team had locked this one up?
I think it comes down to the freedom that Cesaro on the Trindamere was able to have, but also because it was split pressure, there wasn't as much of an opportunity for the team fights that maybe could have been able to turn things around to happen. And when you have someone like a threat like that, when the turrets are able to go down pretty quickly once you actually get locked onto them, then the opposition doesn't have many options.
Yeah, I mean, really, first blood. As soon as that goes over to Trindamere, I'm not saying the game was over. I'm saying you immediately have to shift your focus, because left unfettered like that, you saw him just run straight across the map, picked up a Rift Herald on his own. I mean, it was impressive play from start to finish from Cesaro there.
100%. Well, folks, we got to see a lane swap have a big impact here in game number 2, and it's going to happen again in game number 3. But before we get that, let's just take a look at some of the highlights here from game 2. There were a lot of them, especially for the blue team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like we said, the first game was a bit more neck and neck in some aspects. For game number 2, it was a lot of clean execution from everyone. Lots of action over in the mid lane, which is where we saw the switch prior, and you can imagine that's going to kind of rattle things for the rest of the team. And a lot of these Ash arrows, too. We saw Rick Fox continuing to pressure there in the mid lane.
Here it is, the final moments. Again, take a look at that mini-map while the rest of the squads are down there fighting over it. Drake Cesaro says, I don't need it. I got the minion wave. I've got the damage. And he's just going to pump it through, focusing the Nexus more than anything else.
And his buddy tried to stop him in the end.
That was close, actually.
Yeah,
I love Joe giving it his best effort. He's the only line of defense.
Look at that energy.
Look at him. Top lane, top rope, doesn't matter. He feels comfortable here right now. And man, okay, so chat, where I was saying this a second ago, you guys get to vote again on the lane swap for game 3, so use that Twitch Rivals extension. You can find a list of all of the competitors playing today, as well as vote on which lane you want to see swapped around. So get your votes in, and we'll find out how that's going to go here in just a moment. But my goodness, there's been some craziness, and I want to hear from the coaches, as we had pretty different results here in game number 2. Void, I want to start with you. You felt really confident after game number 1. What just happened?
Cesaro doing Cesaro things, man. He's a beast. I was talking to him about Trindamere a little bit before the tournament and helping him out, and he just the pace with which he improved and took little tips and just put it into his gameplay. Like, man, I wish like challenger players in my teams would learn that fast. And yeah, he just popped off really hard, took over the whole map, drew a lot of pressure, and yeah, it was really, even though he's on the enemy team, I was really proud of how hard he's able to pop off. And it's 1-1 in the series. It's going to be close. We'll see what happens in game 3, but honestly, I already feel like everyone's a winner right now.
I mean, it's been a great day so far. I mean, Dardoch, talk to me about Mr. Nate Hill coming into your team here in the mid lane. You hadn't gotten to coach him before, but the Zigs seemed to fit in right away.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing his own thing individually in game 1 and both game 2. So I think it was really easy for the guys to adapt to him, given that he is seemingly really comfortable on his champion.
All right, Boy, your team just came off of a loss. They got to go into game 3. What words you got for them?
Don't be discouraged. Play as a team. Buy some frozen mallets. Maybe everyone swap over to the the Ghost Sonic Peck and just play together, play smart, and I think we got it.
Okay,
and
gentlemen,
also shut down Cesara.
Okay, that does seem pretty important. Maybe Cesaro will be on your team. We're about to find out what happens here. Gentlemen, let's get back to your teams. Get ready for game 3. That does bring us to a very interesting point here. What is this lane swap going to be?
Right, the choices this time, jungle and top lane, correct?
Yes.
All right, so yeah, I mean, I'm wondering because again, one of the sole win conditions there for the blue side has the opportunity to pop on over to red, but it's not up to us. It's up to everybody at home and where they want to throw their votes.
It certainly is, and also you guys are going to get to vote on who the fan favorite is later on today, so be keeping an eye on that Twitch Rivals extension. There's lots of exciting stuff that goes down over there. Some fun polls as well that'll happen. Now, match 3, what is going to be the defining role for you here? We've seen some crazy lanes. Is there going to be, do you use top lane still where the action's at, Tigers?
I think a lot of it is going to be dependent upon where that switch happens, because top lane was impactful in both game 1 and game 2 in its own ways, and I believe that it will continue to do so in game number 3, but I don't know, right, because it plays into the team in a whole different way.
No, I'm totally with you, though, because even if they do swap, right, the matchup is still the same, and I think we saw 2 distinct differences between game 1 and game 2. What happens when that lane gets attention, and what happens when that lane is left alone. And so I think it's going to be, while the focus may be the top lane, it's about the decisions the rest of the team makes around the top lane.
I'm still waiting to see the impact of our team captains. The supports who we saw fragging out, in the support roles, we saw fragging out yesterday during the play tests.
Yeah.
I want to see Medios and Aframu step up.
Yeah.
We did get Jan a double kill, but do you think we can get Jan a quadra kill? Like, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, and then we did see some early roaming too from Medios, and it's kind of dependent upon how the game flows from there. It's also exciting when you think about Medios, for instance, right? How many show matches has he been in and knows how to put on a show? Same with Aframu being around for the time that he has. I'm really looking, and I know they can hear me, so let's get some of those flash forward plays. Let's get some of that action.
Well, you heard Voyboy talking about some of the tech. He called out the ghost again, and I personally, my personal opinion in looking at some of those summoners is that maybe Ghost is underused. With such a low cooldown, it's a spammable ability that's going to give you a whole lot, and with a slightly condensed map, you can traverse the distances that much quicker. I'm curious to see if anyone adjusts.
The way that you think of those resources in those ways, you use a flash in traditional League of Legends, you think, all right, I'm down for this amount of time. Do I really want to expel this resource? Is it a 60-40? What kind of thing am I going into? But here, maybe sometimes it's worth just throwing it down.
Spammable and summoner spills, not 2 things you usually put together, but things are a little bit different here on Wild Rift. It's a faster game. Let's take a look at the poll results for the lane swap vote. And Jungle actually takes it in the top 10. The top result there by 54%. So we will see Mr. FaZe, Apex, and Chrissy switching it up teams here. And this changes up the rosters yet again.
It does change up the rosters, and again, I'm thinking, even though top lanes didn't get swapped, the supporting elements behind them did. So we're talking about that 2v2 matchup top lane. Tigris, how do you feel now that the Tryndamere's got the Master Yi and the Olaf is on the side of the Garen?
See, that's going to be very interesting because we saw Chrissy actually gank Garen earlier and to help him actually take down the Tryndamere. Now we're seeing her on the opposite side with Tryndamere, who had such an impact during that last game, affecting so much without any assistance in that lane. I'm ready to see what kind of ganks end up happening.
Yeah, well, as the players receive word that they're going to swap, I want to make sure I get a word from Chrissy. She was happy that it went to 1-1, but now she is swapping teams. Chrissy, do I have you?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
How you feeling? You got tossed to the other side, and everyone is focusing on that top lane and how the junglers can affect it. Well, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm a little nervous because obviously I was gelling with my team so well and I loved it and I was hanging out. Of course, I'm back with Nate and Nate crushed it in the mid lane both games, so I'm excited about that. And the Tryndamere was really scary to me in the first game and the second game, so I'm excited to be on his side this time.
Yeah, swapping sides, but not geographically. Do you think there's any advantage being able to mad dog your opponents now straight across the street?
Well, Nate's on my side, so I got him here. But
Okay.
yeah, I'll be staring down Joe.
right,
I'll be
sweet.
trying to intimidate him.
That's what I like to hear. All right, I'm going to let you go once again, Chrissy, and hand it over to Tigress so we can talk to our other jungler.
Yeah, I got to get some words from FaZe Apex ahead of game number 3, our last game at that. But the first thing I want to hear from you, we've spoken to so many with some experience in League of Legends. Obviously, you have experience in gaming. But when it comes to being the jungler here and having a role that can really affect the map, what has that been like?
Yeah, I'm sure, as you can tell, I'm not the most experienced in this game yet. So it's been pretty interesting to learn. My former team, at least, taught me a lot so far. So feels a little weird to take their advice and go against them, but I'm glad to be back with Zed and my new teammates, and it's fun to learn, and I'm seeing that this role is very important, so I got to figure it out for my team.
Yeah, what has that been like, just interacting with everybody else on the team, trying to digest all that information from the coaches and those with experience and put it directly into your gameplay?
Yeah, I mean, I got blessed with one of the best players in the world on my team, some awesome teammates as well, and yeah, they've taught me a lot. It's a lot of information at once, for sure. There's so many different characters, so many different things they do, so many different objectives in the game, but honestly, it's long overdue for me to really get into this, so I'm happy to play it on the new mobile version of the game. It's really awesome.
Nothing like Wild Rift to bring everybody into the universe, right?
Yeah, definitely. I love how accessible it's going to be for people as well, so it's really cool.
Well, so excited to get to see you in game 3. Have a good time.
Thank you.
Oh, I know I'm ready.
Yeah, that lane swap is going to be interesting. I mean, we heard Chrissy saying she hates laning against the Zed or playing against Zed, and now Zed's back on the other team once more. That'll be interesting to see. But, folks, we couldn't do any of this without the support of Verizon 5G. Their ultra-fast speed and ultra-low latency helps us get this all done. The champions react to every move with a low ping on 5G. 5G gaming just got real.
5G just got real. iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro are here on Verizon 5G.
This new iPhone plus Verizon 5G, game changer.
With the coverage of 5G nationwide and in more cities, the performance of 5G ultra wideband, the fastest 5G in the world.
Whoa.
I downloaded a whole movie in under 30 seconds. How is that possible?
Pre-order today, and when you switch, get iPhone 12 on us.
I want this phone.
This is the 5G phone everyone wants. On the 5G America's been waiting for. Only on Verizon.
All right, so obviously the MVP at the end of the day is going to be decided by our coaches, but the fan favorite is going to be decided by you, chat. So the poll is open now. Go get your votes in early and check it out in the Twitch Rivals extension. Vote for which player you think is the favorite today. You would just vote for your favorite. It's not really that hard to think about here. Emily making the case for. We want to talk about Emily for just a moment. We talked to her about wanting to see the Jinx, wanting to see the Super Mega Death Rockets. I feel like almost an unsung hero for her team here. Emily's looked great today.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in game 1, absolutely popped off, was a big factor in their win. Game 2, obviously, was less about that duo lane and more about the top laners. And Jinx, unfortunately, struggles with some of those bruisers that can run you down. And so, again, wondering if they can get off to a good start, off on the right foot this time around and put her in the same position where she can be the main threat for the squad.
Yep. Jinx and Ashe both immobile in their own ways, so when locked down can face some of that difficulty. But we've seen what Emily can do when she's completely unlocked here in Wild Rift. Another revisit to the opening screens that we have enjoyed so much today.
We're getting into a skin change up here for the Sona. Keeping it OG.
Skin it to win it, baby.
That's right. And we're getting into game 3. This one to decide them all. 1-1.
Is that another ghost? Do I see more ghosts on the Rift?
Oh,
let's go. All right, well, I'm going with my boy Avoy then, and the change up in tech. 3 ghosts to their name. That's my call. What about you, Tigers?
I don't know where to predict my way here, but the ghost is making me feel in the spirit. We are approaching Halloween, right? Got to get in the right vibes.
There you go. One last time, I do want to call out the perspective change here within the game of Wild Rift. Both teams play from the quote-unquote blue side perspective, the left side of the screen looking up to the right side of the screen, while the map is still mirrored to make sure that the lane assignments are as you would classically remember them.
I also want to point out, while we have these players' cams like this, just notice, in case there's anyone that's skeptical about whether this is actually operating on 5G or not, there's not a single cable coming out of that phone. That is being streamed and played at the same time on an iPhone 12 Pro on Verizon's 5G network.
One thing also worth noting that got some words about Nate Hill. Perfect game 1 and game 2. Not finding a single death, apparently. So we talked about that prowess. Yeah.
I mean, and the only one with 2 victories to his name, because he was swapped between games 1 and 2. So a 2-0 record for him individually. Can he make it 3-0? And the 2-1 for his squad. Only time will tell as we take a look at that duo lane. A little bit of punishment traded back and forth. No one too much worse for the wear, though. If things go as the first 2 games did, probably won't see a ton of action before that level 5 mark.
Perhaps not. Poke, we're going to continue to see, as you mentioned there, in the bot lane. And this we've seen time and time again. Zed pokes down, has to early back. Nate Hale continues to pressure. And then here in the top lane, them going right at it. Joe and Cesaro pulling their history into it. And we've seen a lot of the game determined from what happens in the early portion of the top lane.
Yeah, this time around, though, it's Joe who's got the advantage in the lane, both the health advantage and he's pushing in. So I think it's slightly different lane state. This could be game over game learning curve.
Oh, already chunked down so much. That's so scary. Emily falls under some fire, but it's actually Meteos that takes the majority of the damage. Luckily, as a sustain, you see the fruit there available to walk over as well. So now with this lane being so pushed under them to tower, you just have to focus on clearing, which is why she's using her AoE rockets as a result.
Yeah, great AoE farming there. Looks like the first gank is coming in. It's Chrissy looking for the kill onto Joe. Can he find his way out? Trying to path towards the turret. The flash away. Will the follow come through? Remember, again, Cesaro does have that level 5. Isn't going to find it, though. A little bit of support from Apex. And Joe is all good here. Going to clear out some minion waves down there in the soul lane.
Apex showed the face at him, said, I'm here. If you want to do anything continuous after that, I'm likely to finish you off. But while we were looking away, Chrissy is putting down the dynamite with Master Yi. A double kill for the cleanup.
Yeah, Chrissy Costanza strikes back. The focus again on the top lane. Cesaro now with an assist to his name and some gold into his pocket. We'll see if he can repeat his run from game number 2. Back over here to the shops, taking a look at those quick buys. Love how quickly you can get out of base. It's something that I think a lot of newer players struggle with in the PC version of the game, is they spend minutes in the shop looking for things, and here it's all right there for you. Quick buys, get back out onto the map and back into the action.
And the itemization itself overall being streamlined. In League, if you're playing support, you have supportive items. As a jungler, you have jungle-specific items. Here, those aren't there. Instead, things like Smite, for instance, you can level directly, choose whether you want to go with blue or red. But the items themselves, you don't have to worry about. So if you're coming new into it, you don't have to feel that pressure. It's kind of refreshing in a way.
Absolutely, but still very customizable, and you can personalize it. As we're watching Rick Fox lane here, for those of you who may just be joining us and didn't catch game number 1, I want to call out some of the interesting UI mechanisms here in Wild Rift. When you get close to targets, you'll see their Scuttle Crab is lit up. That's showing you what you would prioritize in a fight, as we see damage drop straight onto Apex. He face checks the river and gets punished in response. But you can see there, again, very intuitive, knowing who you're going to focus and how the ultimate throw goes out, but it goes a little wide, so Zed slinks away.
I admire the anticipation of where he thought he was going to rotate to, but sometimes it is a bit of a guessing game. If anything, it just continues to put that pressure, and the bot lane is where it also continues. Aframu throws out the Monsoon, which leaves Emily in a compromising position trying to run upriver, but instead finds her death, which also means a rotation from blue side directly onto the Dragon.
We asked for more action, and now we're getting it. 3-0 is the kill score. Blue team over red, now putting some focus onto the Dragon. Will Aframu and Chrissy be able to secure this, though, as Meteos is thinking about the contest, but with no one else around, don't know if he's got the damage and the ability to 1v2.
Yeah, okay, he's thinking about it, but then that poke comes back and it's just not worth. The rest of the team was rotating, so he does throw out the ultimate onto Aframu. There's the flash! He listened for the flash, and Zed with the follow-up throwing on that dark mark, and that's the end of Aframu for that one.
The cavalry has arrived. A nice kill coming through in the first one for the red team. A little bit more action as Zed wants more blood, chasing down Rick Fox, but the flash away means the Ash will get to safety. Now Chrissy coming in with that ultimate, gonna run him down. Fantastic cleanup.
They were right there and ready to respond. Zed thought that he was able to complete the kill, but there was a jungler, and then he even a mid laner to come and follow up if necessary.
Again, as things calm down, I just want to call it a couple more cool mechanics. You'll notice there when minions get to low health, the health bar turns white. There is also a vertical marker for when you would be capable of last hitting the minion. Again, increasing that accessibility, in my opinion, for newer players and understanding when and how they can get the last hit and maximize that income of gold to get more power through items.
Now from here, I want to see exactly where the side of Meteos' team ends up focusing, because they're down in kills, but as we saw in the earlier games, it's not the only way to win things out. The rotation here towards mid, sticking on with Zed to try and enable him to blast some damage, but Ziggs is also able to rotate into their own jungle for some safety. The ward's there, though, offering some vision if they choose to engage, but Emily being knocked a bit low right now. Instead, they opt for the vision for the objectives.
Exactly. Great warding, great scuttle crab control, but a little bit of jostling back and forth here in the river. They're going to have to make their way back into lanes. The ultimate comes in from Zed onto Nate Hill, but the Sona Crescendo misses, which means Nate Hill gets out. The Monsoon coming down. Zed getting away. No, and he's sniped from downtown by Nate Hill.
The big old bomb drops right on his head. Meteos now, oh no, nobody to follow up with some damage, so instead he just has to back off the tower. The action continues in the top lane as another death. Okay, so Chrissy is putting in the work on the map to secure the objectives. I want to call out that I've looked and seen at points with Cesaro just completely pushing past the tower for optimal pressure, but FaZe Apex, oh no, even gets blasted on back, and that's another kill over to the blue side.
Again, fantastic teamwork coming out of Nate Hill and Meteos there, utilizing the knockback on the Ziggs bomb as well as the speed ups from Sona, but Joe laying down the hurt here onto the Tryndamere. Definitely has to be careful not to get caught off guard by the Tryndamere ultimate, but a small health advantage means maybe he can win out this 1v1.
Now, level 9 is scary for Tryndamere, considering the level ups for the ultimates here in Wild Rift in comparison to League. There is still a tower should he need it, but I think that Joe's wanting to be aggressive in this and try to break him down if he can.
Wow, this is a dance down here. I love to see it. The ultimate is leveled up here for the Garen, so if he can get that low, sometimes that'll catch you off guard and the Tryndamere ult doesn't come out in time. We're going to flip to the other perspective to see how Cesaro's dealing with it. The Garen ult comes through. It's going to shove him back under turret. Both will back off. Heal comes up. 20 seconds on that Tryndamere ultimate. That's where I'm looking for him to be aggressive and look for the kill as Nate Hill goes unstoppable across the map with a snipe on his head yet again.
Again and again and again. And Chrissy also proved she was happy to be reunited with Nate, and now they're continuing to slow down on that action. And the top lane, they're still just going to go for the 1v1. It seems like both teams are just confident in their ability to bar against one another and instead opting to make plays on the rest of the map. In this instance, doing the best they can to push this mid turret.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps we were a little bit wrong in our call on the top lane. Everyone said, all right, you two have both learned the matchup. Go at it 1v1. We'll see what we can do as a 4 on the other side of the map. Once again, Cesaro finds him deep in enemy territory, looking to just clear up those minions and proxy the wave.
It's so good. I love the focus. I love the aggression and his ability to stay within this top lane. It's huge to see when going against Garen and things like Demacia and Justice not quite able to get the execute in those 1v1s.
Nate Hill is dunking on people right now. I just want to call that out again. Every time we flip away, the Ziggs skill pops up onto the screen. Chrissy with the objective focus, picking up that Cloud Drake. Gonna feel good to have movement speed on this squad, both for the Master Yi, but as well for the rest of the team and their ability to chase down their opponents.
Potentially the most people we've seen in the top lane in a while. Cesaro is joined, surrounded by enemies soon enough, which is calling for the rest of the team to rotate in response. He's holding him off the best he can. Has the ultimate. The death mark has been pushed on down, but everybody is swarming around him. Meanwhile, Rick Fox has rotated and starts to push it down. There's the backline monsoon from Aphromoo to push it apart, and Nate Hill dealing some damage. The follow-up poke right here from Rick Fox continues to knock them around. And Aphromoo and Meteos, the duo that we wanted to see. Who comes out on top in this one? Aphromoo, with all of his speedy capabilities, gets the final hit onto Meteos, and that's a little bit of bragging rights for you from the support.
In supportal combat, Janna reigns supreme. 4 kills going over here to the blue side as Apex looks for an answer, but now he's going to find himself caught out. The chase down is there from Aphromoo, Chrissy, and Nate Hill going legendary with the bomb over the wall.
I respect that Chrissy is always where she needs to be. Cesaro seems to be as well. Nate now here for that additional protection. It's so cool seeing Cesaro with his teammates actually by him too, and seeing what they can achieve in that way.
I mean, it can't be understated, that previous team fight, the amount of time that he stayed alive while his entire team was rotating towards him, still managed to get out alive in all of that, and now the Baron is started up, but the opposing team close. I think it will go down before they have a chance to contest, though.
I don't see them able to rotate around quick enough, so this is going to be a Baron Nashor achieved by the blue side. Buff working in the same way will help with a lot of the pushing. Moments before that, it even looked like the blue side was wanting to try and engage a fight to make it even easier, but just the pressure they applied and the vision they established, they had no contest.
Yeah, up now 17 kills to 1. A 2-0 for Ash here for Rick Fox, a purple buff adorning him. Let's see what they choose to do with this big advantage that they found. As we pop down to the lane to see the fight come out, the Sona crescendo across the top. Zed looking to get out with just a sliver of health. No kills traded just yet, but the Yi is coming in. Will she find it? There goes the Jinx as Yi picks it up and is dominating.
Yi really being exactly where she needs to be every time this game. Zed and Meteos are attempting to escape, but there's only so much you can do with the Sona abilities in terms of turning back the damage, so they do have to lose the turret.
And you forget about it for 1 second, and Cesaro's already through those inhibitor turrets and on to the Nexus. He's looking to do what he did before and end it. Okay, gonna get shoved out. Isn't quite there, but again, we are right on the precipice of a victory here for Team Blue.
Lessons learned from games past. You knocked on our door and knocked it down pretty quickly last time. We've put up a deadbolt this time around with our very presence, but it's not going to stop them from attempting to do so. Nate Hill throws in the bomb from the back, and Garen also ends up falling. It's a double kill from Rick Fox. You appreciate the poke that he's able to follow up on the lockdown from the rest of the team. FaZe Apex even wants to run away, but look, damage after damage. The team has turned their eyes onto the Nexus turret, and it is firing back. But there are enemies here galore. Meteos throws the flame onto Nate Hill. Is he going to kill his first death? No, the rest of the team grabs it. And Nate Hill, the only one to win all 3 games, but also a second team victory for the blue side.
Nate Hill, 3-0 individual score, never died. We thought it might happen there right at the end, but the Zonias comes through while the team takes out the Nexus. Incredible play out of the Ziggs in the mid lane.
He never died.
He never died! 3 games of League of Legends!
What are you talking about? That's insane. Oh my goodness, here is your winning team and ultimately the winner of our best of 3. It will be the blue team, and it was, I feel like, more so than the first 2 games, Dash, a team effort here in game 3.
I would 100% agree with that statement. It was a team effort across the board. You saw Chrissy having an early effect with some of those ganks. You saw a very tight top lane matchup that eventually opened up in the late game. Cesaro really forcing his opponents, to make hard decisions. Where do we go? We look to staunch the bleeding and ultimately just rip them apart, let the rest of the team do the work to crush through that last turret and ultimately the Nexus.
It was an incredible effort there, but a dominant one again here in game 3. And I want to hear from the players and their perspectives, their experiences. How did this go down? So we'll start over on the blue side of things here in just
Let's
a
go
moment.
back to Afromu.
Yeah, like we heard from them at the beginning of the day, Dash. Let's hear from Afro.
Yeah, we got to come back to you, Afro. We heard it at the top of the day. You were saying aggression is key, and it feels like game over game we got more aggression. Talk to me about this third game and the strategy coming in.
Honestly, we just went for it, man. Like, everybody was popping off left and right. I mean, I just kept seeing kill after kill on my feed. It was just so fun.
Now, as one of the most experienced League of Legends players here on Wild Rift, I just want to get your take now, 3 games in a best of 3. How did it feel? How does this match up to League of Legends PC?
Like we said before, it's very intuitive, and you don't really have to think too much about worrying about items in the shop. Like, leveling up is right at your thumb instead of setting up, a specific keybind, and it's just a lot faster, especially with the map condensed. Like, there's a ton more fights, so much more action, and I feel like roaming is a lot more beneficial.
Yeah, linking up with your team and making those fights happen. Congratulations once again, Afromu, on the victory here in match 3. Going to let you go celebrate with your team. Tigress, who we got?
We got Meteos, the captain and support on the opposite side. No stranger to bringing the level of enjoyment that we watched today. Meteos, I was so happy to see you flash forward for some ults in that last game. What has this been like for you, considering that there was so much switching between the other lanes as well, but your bot lane did remain consistent?
Oh, I definitely had a lot of fun with the event. I think Wild Rift's super fun. And as far as the team switches, I think, their team ended up with a lot more experienced MOBA players. I think there's a bit of an experience gap, but it was still a lot of fun. I think they got lucky, and we would win the next one.
So now that you have played Wild Rift pretty extensively, obviously you have the League of Legends background, to somebody that has been playing League on PC and is looking for a reason to pick this up, what would you say to them in terms of what the experience was like, the faster pace of games, and maybe just those top fun moments?
Well, I would say that it has a lot of the elements that make League fun in the game. Obviously, not as much complexity to the game, so it's a little bit more streamlined. But I think if you're just looking for a fast game, you don't want to sit through really long queues, and there's not as much typing in Wild Rift as it's on mobile. Maybe you'll get the League of Legends you love without, all the not so fun parts.
One last question for you. Who would you think is going to be the MVP that walks away with their face on the turret to be put in the Riot studio?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think Nathel and Cesaro both played really well. They made it look like they've been playing this game for a long time. So I'd have to say one of them.
Well, thanks for your insight, Meteos, as always.
That is our team captains, who had a wonderful day leading their teams into battle, but there can only be one victor at the end, and it was Afromu there on the end of that one for Team Blue. And man, let's recap Game 3 a bit, as it was a wild whirlwind of action. I think we might be able to take a look at some of the highlights, some of the top plays. There was a little bit of everyone here from Blue Team.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing about this game was we saw so much action across the map, from all aspects of play, and the genuine reactions after plays. Nathel probably had a lot of time to react to his plays, considering he never died.
Yeah, exactly that. This team fight here, all Cesaro. Cesaro started this 1v4, pops the ultimate to get out, doesn't even go down. The rest of the team shows up and just wipes the floor with them. This is going to be a very Blue team-centric focus in the highlight reel because of the amount of kills they picked up. These being the final moments, you can see once again Tryndamere pulling the team apart by putting pressure on the bot side. Rick Fox, beautiful A-moving though, to pick up a double kill right here at the end. Love to see it.
Yeah, that cohesion that we witnessed. We're talking about how Cesaro was able to absorb some of that pressure. Building that time for your team to rotate makes the difference. Doing that initial damage so Rick Fox can come in and actually follow up makes the difference.
Woo! Celebrations all around. Enthrones fit for Summoner Kings out over there. You love to see it. For me, that's the biggest takeaway. When I hear yells and screams and hype moments and people smiling, that's what tells me this is a success.
I mean, we saw them yesterday stick around longer than they needed to, so they're like, can we please keep playing the game? And then after the game was over, this was the big deal to me, they all huddled up and started talking about how the games went. These people had so much fun playing this game.
Yeah, and I think that everyone's going to continue to talk about it after this as well. Can't wait to get our hands on it. And just seeing everybody set up in this, I can't bring enough attention to just how cool it is to be on the Rift here. The Nexuses just marked all the way along. The fans being involved as well with the switches, that made for an interesting experience.
I appreciate that we get to be the fountain, the most OP part of the Rift, right?
Y'all
You
are
step foot on
Nexuses,
here, you're going to
but-
get lasered nice and fast.
Sure, yeah, but we didn't even get to play, so, you know, it's
We'll
fine.
play later.
I'm not bitter. Anyways, let's get into talking about who is going to win our award today. The fan favorite is the first one we're going to talk about, and believe it or not, is going to be going to our WWE wrestler. Mr. Cesaro is the fan favorite, voted on by Twitch chat, and it is very appropriate with how things went in the top lane.
Not just how things went for him in the top lane, but his reactions, his genuine fun. It's been such a pleasure.
Also, I just love the run back. Again, I'm going to call attention to that comment you made after game number 1 saying, hey, top lane is my focus. Cesaro took that as a challenge, man, and he delivered in games 2 and 3.
I meant it as a compliment, too. It's like this. That was the lane where things
You
were
take
happening.
it up with him after the
I'm
show.
not taking up anything with Mr. Cesaro. If he says it's right, then he's right, and I'm very wrong. But man, so I want to now take the time. Let's find out who our MVP is, and we're going to do that by interviewing our coaches. Our coaches got the opportunity to pick the MVP, and I want to talk to them a little bit about the process that they went through to get to that. Boy, what goes into an MVP in an event like this?
You know, there's players of all skill levels playing different champions. Some come into the games for the first time, and everyone's just trying to have fun and do their best. And, you know, I think MVP definitely has to go to the player who consistently performed the best over all 3 games and just, you know, put out some dominating performances. And, you know, luckily enough, we had a few people that, you know, popped off at basically every single game, but there can only be one MVP, so.
Yeah, Dardock, tell me about a few of the people you were considering, and then let me know who won that MVP.
Well, obviously, I was looking at Cesaro a lot, like everybody else was. Nate Hill was another big one, and my personal sleeper was Chrissy. I think she did a lot in the jungle in all 3 games, but only one person, like Voice said, can take it, and today that is Nate Hill.
Nate Hill will be our MVP. Thank you guys so much, and Nate, it is well earned as the only player to win all 3 games and the only player to not die the entire time. I don't know how that happens. That's absolutely insane, going 9-0 there in that final game.
I mean, when does he go pro in Wild Rift, right? I mean, people, his face going to say, oh, are we starting up a team? What's happening?
Yeah, I definitely want to hear it from Mr. MVP himself. Nate, this has been an incredible day of incredible action. Talk to me through your experience. What was today like for you?
This has been super fun. Once I got that double kill on the first game by the Nexus, it's just been insane since then. But I love the set. I love playing with all these guys, switching teams, meeting all these new people, but it's been a ton of fun.
Yeah, what was it? You had to play on a different team, switch it up. You said at first you were like, I'm not quite jazzed about that, but you made it work. How was the blue team?
The blue team was also very good. I wasn't jazzed about it because we won the first game, right? So I'm like, I don't want to switch anything. We're doing great. And the second game went really smoothly, surprisingly. And then when we got Chrissy, I knew we were gonna do really well in the third.
You guys were pretty stacked there towards the end. Now your face is going to be 3D printed onto a Wild Rift turret that's 10 feet tall and sitting right in front of me right now. I don't have any life experience to help me frame what that's like. What's going through your mind right now?
I don't know either. This is extremely strange, but I'm really about it, so can't wait to see it.
That's awesome. Well, hey, if for anyone who's thinking about getting into this game, what would you tell them?
I would say definitely do it. Listen, I'm not a big league player. I've played other ones that I shall not mention, but after playing this game, I've had a ton of fun, and I'm definitely going to get it when it comes out.
Awesome. Nate Hill, our MVP of the day, thanks so much for playing today, man.
Thank you. Phase up.
Well, my goodness, guys, it's been a day. This has been some incredible action. I feel like we've gotten to demonstrate the power of the iPhone 12. We've gotten to demonstrate the power of Verizon 5G and also the fun of Wild Rift.
I mean, I don't think that first point, though, can be undersold here, or oversold, rather, I guess would be the term, because, again, this all went so seamlessly, and we have both Verizon and Apple and the iPhone 12 Pro to thank for that, you know, a seamless gameplay that did give us all those exciting moments you'd want from a League of Legends best of 3. But more than anything, Tigress, right now it's dawning on me that we're going to go to work in the Riot offices and see Nate Hill's face every day. We're going to get to wave hello to 10-foot tall Nate Hill.
I did not know that this was going to become a permanent fixture in my life. I have very much enjoyed meeting Nate Hill, and I guess now we'll never be robbed of his presence every time we go in for the LCS.
I might pick up Ziggs.
Yeah.
I might pick up Ziggs after that performance.
Us.
You know,
for real.
He made it. He absolutely made it look good. Let's take a look back at some of the exciting moments that happened over the course of the day. This all underscored by the new track from Chrissy Costanza's band Against the Current. Their song "That Won't Save Us" drops October 28th. Let's take a look. It's been a wild day of action here, but all wild things must come to an end at some point, and I just want to give a big thank you to the coaches and the players and all the people behind the scenes that helped make this day happen.
Yes, and thank you all for joining us and getting our first glimpse of the iPhone 12 Pro, and thank you to Apple, Twitch, Verizon, and Riot Games for making this possible.
Yeah, we hope to see you all out there in the Wild Rift playing with us on Verizon's 5G Ultra Wideband Network, making it smooth and easy to stomp fools.
They certainly, absolutely did there. We've seen our players take on the Wild Rift tonight, and that all happened on 5G. You, too, can battle at home on Verizon's Ultra Wideband 5G network, ultra fast latency and speed. It's been pretty incredible stuff. 5G gaming just got real. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you next time.
Damn right it did.
Woo!